All right, we're here.
It's your girlfriend's calling us out for being late in the comments.
It happens.
Yeah. Oof.
Yeah, how you feeling, buddy?
Not great. Not great, yeah. I was feeling actually better before I got in the shower. Then I got in the shower and
the hangover started to hit.
Yeah, I was like, oh wow, okay, I got a little bit of a headache. I got a little bit of a little rumbly tumbly. You know, I might have been brushing my teeth and, you know, maybe gagged once. Just once, okay? We've all been there.
You can't take the whole toothbrush, that's fine.
Hey, man.
You'll get there one day.
You know what? I'm not practicing, actually. Unlike you, I don't need to know death run fucking deep throating. Oh. Man, it's so crazy because, you know, obviously we had that little get-together last night. Fucking, you actually ended up playing Battletoads on the fucking Xbox last night.
Yes. And it's bad.
Yeah.
It's real fucking bad.
Yeah. Which is really funny because we ended up watching a Retro Bird video today where he's like...
him playing the Xbox Rare Replay version.
Where he's like, oh, no, you can get used to it. I mean, you know...
Which you can. The problem is, if I'm going for an NDR on original hardware, I don't want to, like, get used to the timing of another version.
Oh, no, of course not. I mean, yeah, rather counterproductive. It's one of those things where I do wonder sometimes if I even noticed, right? Like, one of the things I have in my PlayStation library, for example, is Red Dead Revolver. And I played that game back on... Oh, we're buffering, apparently.
Oh, y'all buffering.
Did you plug in the Ethernet cable?
It's still plugged in?
Okay, just make sure.
Hold on. It's probably... Hold on, let me run
it might be her, because your Wi-Fi is shit, bro.
No, I'm hardwired, so...
No, I'm saying her phone. It might be her phone.
Yeah, it's showing excellent connection here. Let me run a speed test real quick, because no one's actually here watching this, except for Cindy anyway.
Women, am I right?
Yeah, no, I don't think we're the problem here. Let me see what upload is.
No, dude, it's shit. I think it's your Wi-Fi. Like, your Wi-Fi...
Dude, it's a shitty router that they gave us. Yeah. I think if we got a new router, we'd be fine.
Yeah, your Wi-Fi constantly just, like, disconnects me, and then I have to reconnect to it, and I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, it does it to me all the fucking time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're getting, like, 700 megabytes upload and, like, a gig down. So, Cindy, I think it might be you and your phone.
We'll have to go back and watch the VOD. Let's see if any of it actually loaded. But, yeah, no, playing Battletoads on an emulator is certainly just interesting to me. And it makes me wonder if I would have even noticed, because I was talking about Red Dead Revolver, that's right.
Yeah.
Red Dead Revolver is a game that I played a shit ton growing up on the PS2, and you and I did revisit it for the...
For the channel, yeah, it's one of the early playthroughs that we did.
Which, you know, I'm really happy that we actually did get around to a game.
A game that you wanted to play.
Yeah, a game from my childhood that we actually finished, mind you. Well, all the games from my childhood are crap, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with liking crappy games, mostly for nostalgia, right?
Yeah.
You know, it's funny how much a person can adapt to bullshit, you know, if it's the only thing they have to entertain themselves with. Like, people...
Definitely.
People will write, you know, open letters in defense of garbage games if they learned how to play that garbage game well. But, and I'm one of those people. But no, I really do struggle to guess if, you know, I ever played the PS4 version, which is also my PS5. If there had been lag there, I probably wouldn't have noticed. I probably would be like, man, I was a dumbass kid. I liked this game. Man, the game controls like shit. The fact that you have enough awareness about your technical skill to be aware of that input, and you are playing them both right now in conjunction, so that does help as well. But nonetheless, I think it's an impressive skill. I mean, I constantly, yes, Matt, Justin is back.
Oh, what up, hot guy?
But you know, I struggle to have that kind of technical expertise, I guess, when it comes to actually using a controller. I have a couple things I'm good at, and a lot of things I'm not good at when it comes to video games, as I think I displayed pretty well last night.
Yeah, we did have that fucking fighting game night just turned into chess night with Jamal in the kitchen.
That did, yeah. Jamal's a pretty good chess player, I have to say. I didn't...
I give him shit all the time. It's just like, he's way better than you'd think.
It's one of those things where, like, I don't think I actually made him feel bad, but, you know, because we tied our first... We played 3 games. We tied our first game.
Now, mind you, it was 2 a.m. by the time you guys started.
Yeah, and then he conceded the second game because I had a good knight fork, or I forked an important piece, and his queen and he sacrificed his queen, but didn't realize that in sacrificing his king, he put himself back in check a second time.
Oh, what up, Stampede?
He says howdy. That's my word. I say howdy to people,
Yeah,
okay? I think I invented it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, you were the first person
I don't-
documented saying howdy.
I don't think I'd heard that used before my usage of it. Matt says, I'm walking the dog, so I'm not really staying. Just wanted to say, hey.
Oh, you're good, bro. Appreciate it.
You know what? Appreciate you popping in. Really appreciate it. If you want to go ahead and give us a good old thumbs up there, you know, start begging for.
Oh, God, you're e-begging for likes.
Is it wait, is begging online called e-begging? Because it's just begging. It's not like I've made it like electronic begging. You know, I've not actually digitized any process in this.
No, it's analog begging. You're fucking writing letters for people to like our streams.
Can you imagine people start leaving their addresses in chat, just not understanding like how awful of a thing that would be? Deep South Justin.
Is that the name of someone?
That's what Matt just wrote.
Oh, God damn it. I would love Deep South Justin to be in our chat.
But I'm not Deep South, okay?
No, you're a good old Yankee.
Well, we're pretty close. No, not really. We're pretty close to the Mason-Dixon line, though. Sammy says, I'm at a birthday party and saw you went live, so I ran to the bathroom to watch.
Who said that? Oh, Stampede. Bro, please, do not, I don't think the no death run's happening today, so
yeah,
I appreciate you stopping by.
Much like
Justin is very hungover and full of pizza.
There's nothing wrong with that, okay? I had a great time last night. I knew I wasn't gonna have a good time tonight. It was actually fun to actually end up talking to somebody about that, where I was like,
I haven't quite hit the hangover phase. Like, I'm pretty sure if I blew into my breathalyzer, I'd be at like 0.02, which, by the way,
when I woke up this morning.
Damn it, where's my breathalyzer? Get my breathalyzer. It's over there.
Where is it exactly?
You'll see. It's bright green.
Nathan, you're not being vague because
it's bright green right there, and you found it immediately.
I should be able to find it. You're being vague because even you didn't know where the fuck it was.
No.
Okay.
Oh, shut up. I'm actually curious now. Because if you're hitting the hangover phase now, last thing I need is to hit the hangover phase during
I knew you can't.
What up, Cole?
I knew you hadn't hit your hangover phase yet when I came upstairs and you were laying down in your girlfriend's bed voluntarily. I was like, oh god. When are the handcuffs and the chains coming out? Praise the toad!
0.08. We had a lot of fun last night.
Yes, we did.
Holy shit.
Yeah, no, you are not legal to drive at the moment.
Good thing that party's not for another 5 hours.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no, I mean, yeah, we went pretty hard. I mean, you definitely leaned more into drinking. I leaned more into the.
Yeah, you got high and played chess with Jamal.
Hey, you know what? There's no better way to play chess. Okay,
Then with Jamal, I agree.
Well, I was gonna say high, but I mean, with Jamal was fantastic as well. He was talking about how he was in the chess club, and I was like, man, I wish I was cool enough to be in the chess club.
You are the right level of cool to be in a chess club.
If only. That's where all the cool guys hang out, man. Okay, I got stuck with all of the losers. Like the potheads. Oh, I fucking exited chat by accident. I'll have to read it off the
screen I have up just for chat.
Stampede said he's going back to the party.
All right, bro, have a good one.
I'm gonna put you on mute while I sit in the corner and be antisocial. Well, don't worry. We're gonna sit here in the corner and be antisocial on the live stream while you be antisocial at the party. So it works out. This is like a negative and a negative cancel each other out, right?
Yeah, exactly. Two negatives make a positive.
Cindy's commenting about how you're always in her bed when you want to annoy her.
When she's not there? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh. Well, yeah, when you want to annoy her, and you mostly want to annoy her when you're still drunk. So
funny how it happens.
I put 2 and 2 together.
Cindy's more fun when I'm drunk.
Nathan, we can talk about perspective, okay? You ever been to the spin zone? Okay, you gotta spin it, all right? You gotta spin this for to sound better than it is. Did Justin win at chess? Jamal and I drew overall.
You played 3 games, and I think he conceded, what, twice?
No, he conceded once. We drew the first game.
Oh, that's what it was. Okay.
I beat him the second game, and he conceded because he should have put up a fight. To be honest with you, he is very insecure about his end game skills, and his end game skills are fine. He did some good calculations in the end game. He actually took me from a drawing position in the last game to a losing one because I actually missed a trade of pawns. He was a knight up, but I had we had equal pawns and he was a knight up, right? That's a huge advantage for him. I got to his pawn in time to put pressure on it, but not actually to secure the pawn itself. So on the other side of the board,
Yep, nope.
board, I should have simplified the position and got down to one pawn apiece. That way, when he did make the run with his knight, I can make the run with my king. He would get there first with the knight.
What the fuck was that?
The knight actually took my piece.
Reset. We're early enough to where button on the right.
Gotcha.
Okay. I don't know how I didn't move, but still fell through the bottom.
Well, you see, you were like the Flash. You were moving so fast that it looked like you were stationary. You just vibrated to the floor. Yeah, Cindy's agreeing. Maybe we tied.
I read that as lied.
Call saying you actually got far enough to get to an end game draw. Yeah. Our first game we got to an end game draw because he and I both looked at the board and realized we were down to kings and pawns. And
you don't have to die at that part. Thank you, Stampede.
Hey, he's empowering you. Okay, you don't have to do anything you don't want to.
Is what I'm pretty sure happened there is like those platforms are kind of like rhombus shaped.
Bro, I swear to God, I told you this when we played the co-op because you were like, "Who dies there? Who falls?" I'm like, "Bro, that totally looked like I was still standing on the platform."
No, well, what happened is it's thinner at the top than at the bottom, so I didn't drop the way I normally do.
Yeah, it doesn't show very well in my opinion. Also, are you on your honeymoon? Was she in a wedding dress?
Don't worry about it.
What is going on with the Battletoads? There's so much lore I want to just sink my teeth into, but for some reason Nathan's acting like it's a Miyazaki game, and I can't, know all the lore.
Can't help you guys. It's on mute. You're all good, bro.
Hey, no worries, brother. You know what? I'd rather my friends be present and mute than not present and talkative.
You know, a lot of my friends I wish were mute when they were present.
You talking about me?
Oh,
I'm sorry, I'm not good at this social cue understanding.
You never have been.
Fucking dude, I said this shit to Cindy the other day. I swear to God, on our way to the dispensary, I was like, yeah, I've never been very good at picking up on like social cues and like, it's one of those things where oftentimes I find myself have to ask for what other people perceive as like obvious cues to understand, how a person feels in a conversation. And she straight looked at me and she's like, I always thought you had Asperger's. I was like, oh damn, okay.
Yes, you are describing autism.
I'm getting a diagnosis from Dr. Jones right now. I mean, to be fair, I do believe that she's been to enough.
Yeah, see, that's what he said. Stay lower, use the shadow. That's what happened.
Stampede understands what happens even better than I did, and I've died to it. So that's definitely saying something. I had fun last night. I really wish we could have had the Xbox working because I think
dude, that was so fucking depressing.
I think having the ability to cycle the games through just a little faster would have helped us out a lot.
Yeah, basically we had I've got a modded Xbox and it's got basically MAME on it with a bunch of arcade fighting games, and we have the Street Fighter Anniversary fight pads because original Xbox controllers are not great for fighting games.
Those fighting pads are nice.
They're super nice.
They're hella sick.
And don't ever say that again.
Hella sick, baby.
No, for whatever reason, my big 36-inch Trinitron, it was glitching out where it would show the image, but it wouldn't show it in color.
Yeah.
And it would flicker, so I thought the TV was going bad.
Yeah, we thought it was the Xbox, thought the TV. For some reason, it is the two together.
Yes, because I brought the Xbox back up here and hooked into this TV.
Yeah.
Worked fine. I brought the Sega Saturn down. We ended up playing Mortal Kombat 3 on that.
Yeah.
It worked fine on the Trinitron.
Yeah.
No fucking clue why the Xbox and that TV weren't adding up.
Nathan, this is why you have to dedicate more time to testing before the party arrives.
If you... No. Setup is not what we do.
Well, obviously, look at what we're running right now. Setup is not something that we do very well.
This little slapdash setup I have here.
Hey, you know what? There was dashing, and there was slapping, actually, now that I think about it. Cindy says, I know autism when I see it. Bitch, stop looking in the mirror, all right? You look nice,
That's just you, Cindy.
I already gave you your compliments for the day. Jesus. Oh my God, Call's asking, is it a bad HDMI connection? Call,
we're talking like original Xbox. Like I'm talking like the old model.
This is used.
We were running composite.
You were running composite on it?
Yeah.
Oh, components of the fucking blue and green. I always do that.
Yeah. Now the TV, I do have those cables, and the TV does have those ports.
Yeah.
Which I'm gonna test that out to see if it's still doing the Xbox shit. Because if it's just the cables, that's a cheap fix.
Carl, you're showing your age there. Okay, it's all. He's like, oh, never mind. Like, hey, no. You've said enough. I already don't understand what you're talking about. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, no, it is odd that it wasn't the port because we checked we checked different ports. It was just the Xbox in conjunction with that TV for some reason. It'll be interesting to look into to see exactly what's going on there. I was half tempted to be like, hey man, you want to go grab a TV from outside? And then I remembered that one was a fucking your HD TV's outside. I don't think you have a TV out there.
The one you gave me is out there.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
I thought there was one out there, but I was kind of drunk at that point. I'm like, wait, am I mixing up TVs? Because there's so many fucking TVs in this house, bro.
Yeah.
I have 2 TVs here. I didn't think I had 2 TVs here, but I have 2 of my TVs here. You have my PlayStation TV right here, and you have
that's what I played Bloodborne and Dark Souls on.
Yeah, and then CRTV downstairs. Which, by the way, if you want another CRTV, I got another one.
Do you really?
Bro, it is obnoxious. It's actually kind of like the size of your fucking thing, but
which one?
The one downstairs. That's what I'm saying.
The big one?
It's a big one. It's not the screen size. I don't think is quite that big, but she definitely is way too heavy to be nice to move. That bitch is like 200 pounds. Easy.
I can't wait for Cindy to be in the chat, being like, "We don't need another one."
Cindy's like, "How many TVs do we have at this point?" Cindy, you don't ask questions that no one wants.
I'll say, let's do the math. We got 2 in the garage. We have 3 in the garage.
There's a third one in there?
Yeah, it's one of those like 1080i, like 32-inch rear projection HD TVs from like 04, 05.
Okay.
It just needs a new bulb in it.
You've got the Triton downstairs.
That's 4.
You got the Roku downstairs.
That's 5.
You want to count Clover's in her room?
No, because that's not my TV.
Fair enough. I'm guessing we'll leave
1,
Cindy's
2,
alone then.
3, 4. I've got 4 in this room.
Almost.
We almost hit double digits.
Almost. I mean, if you count everyone's TV in this house, you're easily double digits. So, Cole's like, you say Xbox, I think Xbox One before original Xbox, which is fair.
I hate the way the naming convention.
They shouldn't have called it Xbox One. Like, my God, dude. Like, how the fuck could it? Don't get me wrong. I agree that Xbox 720
would have been really cool.
Really? I think that would have been lame as well. I think 720, you get a little
Remember now, you're Mr. Thompson.
Should I get that reference?
Don't worry about it.
Okay, just making sure. But no, I mean, like, bro, just put a fucking word next to it, like Xbox Next or Xbox whatever. I mean, like,
bro,
fucking Sega had so many systems that didn't have numbers or confusing naming conventions.
And look where it got Sega.
Well, they were good for a couple of years. There was like, let's not talk about Sega. Actually, it makes me sad. 720 is a weird number, says Paul. Yeah, well, to be fair, the fact that we say there's 360 degrees in a circle is also kind of arbitrary. I mean,
well, the naming convention behind 360 is when, like, the internet and, like, high definition, they wanted it to be a set-top media box. So it's like 360, it's all-encompassing.
Carl's saying it makes it sound like it's low quality. Yeah, like it's the 720th iteration of a thing. Like, it kind of reminds me of, like, the iPhone, where it's like, at some point...
do you remember when they called it, like, the new iPad or whatever?
No. I don't, because I've never been an Apple fan, or a person who could afford Apple, to be completely honest with you. Fucking, it's funny, my mom actually did Apple support for a lot of years, like 5, 7 years, something like that, and she did Apple support, like quality, like technical support, for like customers for so long that she actually started training in like accessibility standards. So, like, she got to the point where, like, she was helping people who were, like, blind, for example. But the thing that's really fascinating, and that I've actually had a conversation with her about before, is that when you get to that point where, like, they've referred you to the accessibility specialist, what it usually is a problem that cannot be solved by technology. Like, people who are blind and use phones usually, like, aren't oblivious to how that technology works.
Yeah.
They have to know how it works in order to have that access. So at that point, it's not them not knowing how to use technology, usually, like 80% of the time, it's not them not knowing how to use technology, it is the technology not working the way it's supposed to be working for them. So really, my mom was taking, like, the worst calls, because those are the calls that will not be solved by this phone call. That's her, at the end of this, going to be taking, like a ticket number from you to log a bug, to report to the IT department, so that problem might be patched out months down the road, and still having you walk away from that conversation not feeling like, fuck this entire experience somehow. I don't know how she did it. She has way better customer service than I do, apparently. I mean, her social aptitude comes in extremes in both directions, I guess. She can be both the best person to socialize with and, you know, to make you really feel positive affirmation, or she can be the absolute worst. And I just find it very funny how that happens.
Thanks, Stampede. Yeah, I really just I have it down. I just, for whatever reason, I didn't drop the way I normally do.
So have you succeeded in not dying before the turbo tunnel now?
Yes.
I'm very proud of you, Nathan. Oh, so like the ice level's like the 4th level.
Yes.
Okay. Nathan, I've watched you now play this 3 times in the last 2 days. And,
I'm surprised. Normally, when you don't want to do something...
Well, like, I wasn't feeling that bad, because, like, we were talking about it before, I didn't have that much alcohol. It was just one of those things where, like, I was feeling great when I woke up.
Because you were still drunk.
And, yeah, exactly. And then I got in the shower, and, like, the shower, of course, kind of sobers you up. You know, water splashing on your face, it's hot, humid. I also cleaned out my sinuses a little bit. And I was like, oh... my drunk is fading fast. Now I'm getting into hangover territory, but luckily not that bad. I mean, I didn't kind of want to keep it to a reasonable level with the alcohol last night because
yeah, we actually still have some left in that bottle.
Yeah.
For once.
Like I remember it got towards the end of the night. I saw you taking shots, and I was taking like a shot for your every like 3 or 4 basically.
Yeah, I wasn't like, smoking those, so I'm like,
yeah. And also like, dude, I don't know how you somehow were so excited for the chess game between Jamal and I, but then like you realized, oh wait, chess games take a long time.
Very long, especially when people know how to play.
And we played 3 of them. I mean, yeah, it's one of those things where I could tell by a certain point you were like, man, I want you guys to keep playing chess, but this is taking forever. Like there is nothing going on, dude. You started playing fucking like anime theme music in the middle of our chess game.
Yeah, I did.
And then you got very surprised when I happened to know the intro.
The fact that you called the case closed outro song within 30 seconds is wild to me.
It was the outro song. You're right. Fucking, but yeah, no, it's one of those things where, you know, dude, I literally at the time that
I love Case Closed.
Dude, Case Closed is so good. I need to go back and watch it, but I'm kind of scared to.
Yeah.
Because like, what if it's not good? What if I go back and I watch it and I'm like, okay, this is fine, and like I kind of just lose that nostalgic like remembrance I have for it, you know?
Yeah.
Like, I end up supplanting a really fun and engaging old memory with a stale and, you know, disappointed new one. Because that's one of the things I was learning about, like, eyewitness testimony the other day that I thought was really fascinating. And one of the things they talk about is the fact that, you know, when you get an eyewitness testimony, every time someone tells a story, they're not always necessarily remembering the events as they originally saw them. Most times, people are also remembering the last iteration of the story they told.
Bitch. Yeah.
So, you know, that's why you end up having, you know, essentially the same thing you have happening in like the game Telephone, where you have a distortion of information from a first-hand source. That's very easy. It's one of the reasons why, you know, they try to get testimony so quickly from you and try to force testimony, obviously. But that's all. That's talking about the police, you know, conduct, which I'm not a huge fan of in general. I mean, my God, the things that we allow police officers to do away in this country. And then, like, you look at European countries, and people are like...
we went from the Case Closed anime outro to police in America.
Well, I mean, one of the things that's really fascinating, too, is that, you know, a lot of the attitude around, you know, talking about eyewitness testimony, right? A lot of the police attitude in this country that comes from, like, middle class people comes from media, comes from TV shows, and there's so many cop TV shows, man.
Like Case Closed.
Well, that's not really police, but yes, to a certain degree, yeah, they kind of romanticizes the idea of being a detective, right? To a certain degree, you got like Brooklyn Nine-Nine, you got fucking you know, and all the weird procedurals like Blue Bloods and Law and Order and CSI, which isn't as big anymore, obviously, but you know. Short story long, you know, a lot of people's interaction with police happens most often through a TV screen, where the police are the protagonists and the heroes of the story. And even when they are the bad guys, they're not that bad of a guy, okay? You know, he's doing the best he can, okay? Like, if you ever watched, like, The Shield, for example, where he literally plays a crooked cop that people root for. Like, they literally, like, the idea of The Shield was like, hey, let's have a Tony Soprano character, but he's a cop.
Having coffee, the party's gonna end soon, okay. I forgot that Stampede's on mute.
It's very funny to me that the idea of like having coffee as like a wrap up to a party is like, it just seems like a very like Western thing to do.
Yeah, I usually don't remember the wrap-up star parties.
Well, usually because you are wrapped up by the end of our party in a blanket.
On the floor.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, dude, it was so funny because like, dude, fucking that Wiz Khalifa shit. That fucking brought by.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude, like I know he smokes good shit.
I really do. There was a hot minute there where like I was eating Doritos in the kitchen. I was like, man, I just want to like lay down on Nathan's floor.
I half expected to find you on the ground because you were gone for a minute.
I was gone for like it was 30 minutes to an hour. Like it was a solid chunk of time.
Like it was during the time that we were waiting for the pizza to show up.
Yeah. Well, that was the thing where like I was hungry. I was munchy, and then I kept hitting that blunt. And I went to like, oh man, I can't keep my thoughts in order, and I am all I can think about is food. Like everyone kept talking, and the only thing I wanted to be like was food. So I was like, let me go sit down.
Poe hungry.
Poe need food. You see, you don't like the other iteration of that, right? You know, Poe smash is the term you do not want to hear. Okay.
No, you do not want to be on the receiving end of a Poe smash.
I've heard many complaints. Okay, I'm just saying that there's a. God damn, it's crazy how delayed the stream is. You are now starting the water section on the stream right now.
Yeah.
Well, actually, I might be a little delayed. Let me check. I was a little delayed. I was like 10 seconds delayed. I forgot to close and reopen the stream to get the chat to pop back up on my phone. Because once again, Nathan, you did not get the emoji out of the way, so it's hard to chat the screen. Also, one of the things I was thinking about, I'm not sure if you have... you get a free HDMI port in this, right?
It has HDMI out, yeah.
One of the things we could always do is to display chat up here, like fucking full screen.
We could,
fucking, you know, make it easy to read so we're not always like leaning up to the computer monitor. You know, we can monitor our shit here and then fucking, or put chat here and fucking monitor ourselves up there, or vice versa. Just an idea that I had, because I know a lot of streamers who like blow up their chat somehow, probably through a plugin if I had to guess.
Yeah. Well, you can also adjust the size in Streamlabs.
Oh, fair enough. Because, you know, they're fucking sniper reading fucking chat from a mile away while glancing for 1 second. I'm like, god damn. I mean,
you can also highlight like top chat. It's like we're not big enough to have to worry about top chat.
I ain't worried about top chat. Okay, I am the top of the chat right now. Okay, because I am chatting.
You are chatting.
And I am toppy.
You haven't taken a breath in 5 levels.
Breath is only necessary. I was about to do that fucking stupid saying. What is it? Where pain is just weakness leaving the body. But like
the Marine Corps fucking
just be like,
motto or whatever.
Like, breath is just weakness leaving the body. Okay, I don't need to take breaths, motherfucker. All right, I know what I do. All right, and I try to be proficient in it. Also, I just realized the wall in the background is ribbed for her pleasure.
Smooth.
Or bumped, I guess. I'm sorry. It's not actually technically ribbed. It's bumped for her pleasure, which is a thing you do see. Okay, the analogy still works.
When was the last time you saw it?
Something bumped for her pleasure? I haven't dealt with any bumps in a while. Okay.
Or female pleasure.
Well, yeah. You know what?
Shut up, Nathan.
You know, I'm having some me time, Nathan, okay? Sometimes you gotta focus on self-pleasure. Not... Yes, and... I don't want to come out... I'm not trying to come out here strong, alright? I don't want to come out here swinging.
You come strong, you don't come at all.
I don't want to come out here beating the Quidditch bat, alright?
I'm looking for that golden snitch. Fuck! God damn it.
I'm sorry, Nathan.
I fucking hate you. Move, I need a seltzer.
Daddy needs his bubbly.
It is bubbly, shit.
I know it's bubbly.
Oh.
I was tempted at one point to make a joke, like, when you were, like, pretty deep into one of your no-death run attempts and be like, oh man, your NES on for no reason. Let me go ahead and... But I was like, you know what? That might actually
be out of this channel so fast.
Yeah, that might actually fuck him up. Like, even just joking about it might actually fuck him up.
Dude, I'm in the mood for no death runs. Let me change the thumbnail.
You want to just take this from a practice into a run?
We're taking it from a practice into a run.
Call saying, good to know. It is good to know. Hey, I'm here to inform you with, like, information that's
I can't do that
roughly 60 to 80% accurate, alright? I know some of the things I say sometimes are not 100% accurate because, like I was talking about eyewitness testimony earlier.
Oh, I got rid of it. Cool.
It's bad.
It's that easy.
It's not good.
It's just that easy.
It's just that easy.
I could have done this so long ago.
I'm so happy you've done it. You're amazing, Nathan. I'm so proud of you. You actually did a thing you said you were going to do months ago.
You know what? I'll edit this on the back end.
But there's an edit button right there. Can you not edit it there?
It's not letting me edit the thumbnail.
Oh, thumbnail? Oh, only title?
Yeah. Hold
Okay.
on. All right.
What did you use as a thumbnail?
The practice.
I didn't realize you had different thumbnails for them. That's funny.
Also, what the hell is that playing?
It's way behind.
How fucking behind are we?
Mine's mine's accurate. I'm saying this place.
Oh, okay.
I think because you're hovering over it, I think it just like started at a random.
Oh,
spot.
from the beginning? Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? Fuck it. I think if I go back here.
You were really.
This is the fun part of the stream that people come for.
I mean, is it really that big of a deal to just have practice up there? Oh, okay. You're figuring things out. Are we still on the stream?
Oh yeah, we're still streaming.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, no. This is bad content.
When I see you go into YouTube Studio, I'm like, man, you might as well be in fucking Narnia for all the sense this makes to me. Okay,
It took me a long time to figure out such easy things.
I have done none of the back rooms, fucking work here, so I have no idea what's going on right now. It is interesting to look at, though. I mean,
yeah, one day I'll teach you how to run our channel.
One of the things I would recommend, though, is turning your YouTube into the night mode, so you don't have this white light, because this can really fuck with your eyes, looking at this all the time. So I know you like to check your analytics pretty often.
Quite often.
Yeah,
see, calls like YouTube Studio is pretty simple. Yeah, we got rid of the heart call. We finally did it.
You know what? As a channel, we got something done that we said we were going to do. That's something we do very often.
We made progress today.
We break a lot of promises to ourselves, okay? So, I'm happy to see we followed through on something.
Okay. Hit reset and let's do it.
Cole agrees with me. He uses dark mode like a normal person.
Push the right button.
You want to reset it?
Yep. We're doing NDRs, baby.
When you say it like an acronym, it just sounds like a sex position to me.
The no death run sex.
Well, I can't think of a good acronym. For some reason, I think of N. I think navigational. Like,
The navigational sex position?
The navigational device ramming.
If you're gonna ram, direction is important.
Hey, you know what? You gotta use your cardinal directions. You gotta use your non-cardinal directions.
We gotta go true north.
Do you even know what true north is?
No, I just know a word.
The goal of sex is not to die.
Is that Call?
Yes, that is Cole saying that. I'll be honest with
Call
you.
fucks? I didn't know. Good for you.
Well, one, of course, Cole fucks. Have you seen his Dark Souls game? My man is willing to dedicate a lot of time to practice makes perfect, and women appreciate that. Okay, and two,
Men also.
yes, I do agree, but I don't feel like that's something that really needs to be stated. I mean, it doesn't matter. But actually, I guess maybe so. There is kind of a weird prejudice against, women sleeping around sometimes, which I'm always baffled by. It's like, dude, everyone likes sex. Why would you ever be like, oh, the sex you've had before? I'm not sure I can stand by that. Okay, it's too much sex. That's just a weird concept. Doesn't matter. Off in the weeds.
Someone's been watching a lot of Tim Pool today.
Stampede saying, I'm trying to get the heart to disappear as well. Please give details, Nathan. How did you do that exactly? Because I was actually looking away in judgment when you did it. Can you describe the Stampede?
Sure.
Yes.
In case this is a real question.
He said, please. He said, please give details.
I went into YouTube live control room.
Which is in dark mode.
I went to edit. And if you go to and you click on customization, there's a checkbox to turn off live reactions.
Yeah.
That gets rid of the heart.
Which is funny that we could not figure this out the other day when Cole first told us about it.
Cole put a detailed explanation in Discord.
Yeah, much more detailed than what you're doing right now.
He had pictures.
Just turn off the live reactions, Cole says.
Yeah.
The Utes, man, they got no respect, okay? Yeah, sometimes you gotta hold someone's hand and walk them through it. And even when you do that, you can always lead a horse to water. You can't make them drown. Wait.
You can totally make a horse drown. Cole's like, I even gave you screenshots.
Cole, I don't like you coming here with your facts and your logic and your recalling perfectly of the events that transpired, okay? I'm allowed to give Nathan shit about not doing things. No one else is allowed to give Nathan shit about not doing things, okay? I reserve that right solely. What are the arrows on the left side of the screen?
So, we are fighting this... So this, I guess, technically is a second-person perspective boss fight?
Yes, because
we're fighting him from his perspective.
Yeah. Well,
those are the arrows. Like, you're literally watching a robot.
It wouldn't be second-person perspective, technically, actually, because while you are taking on a different perspective, you are still controlling, you're still seeing yourself, so it'd just be a third-person limited perspective.
Okay.
Because third-person omniscient obviously is like, you can see in the minds and actions of everyone, and limited is where you have a limited perspective of one character. So when it comes to actual perspective as opposed to literary perspective, I imagine that still holds true as well. Dude, a second-person perspective of a game would be a very interesting concept in general. Because the way that would have to work would be that you actually wouldn't be able to control, like, what's a game where, you gotta help me here.
Okay.
What's a game where, like, you have a trail... It's a type of game. We've seen it on Pro Jared's thing before, where like you are doing things and trying to have a trail of some kind of creature get to an end point, and you're controlling the environment to try to. Like a Lemmings game? Is that what they are? Not Lemmings.
Kind of like Chicken Run for the Game Boy Color. No. I guess you have direct control over the hen there.
He literally said it was like a type of game. Man, it's gonna fucking bother me now that I can't remember. Saw someone beat Minecraft in second person. I'm not sure if I would agree with that definition of second person, but I also don't know. I'm stipulating what I believe second person perspective would be in a video game, because the point I was going to make was that would be it, right? You're not controlling the actual things that are moving on the screen. You'd be controlling and observing just the environment around it while the thing took its actions. I would guess that to be a second person perspective.
Would the game Populous count, or like SimCity?
Maybe. No, not really, because you have control. Nah, see, and that's interesting, right, to look at it from that perspective. Because, like, I can tell you what second person is from a literary device, right? But literary and video game perspectives are different things.
Right.
Because, in second person literary device, the best way to recognize a second person perspective is like he and she being used as pronouns in it, meaning that you are observing something that a character is doing while not understanding why they're doing it. You're not limited to their perspective. You're observing it from a non-partial perspective. It's weird. I don't like perspectives. I don't like second person perspective usually, but sometimes it works. Like, if you were to ask me, like, for example, the movie Rambo, like First Blood, fucking, that...
2 streams in a row, Rambo's come up.
Well, I'm just saying the elements of that I would consider second person, right? Like, when you have 2 characters in the room talking about Rambo, like, that's not really how perspective works in literary devices as well, right? You don't shift perspective like that mid-book usually. But just like a small example of it, I would say, is like when they're talking about Rambo's capability, we're seeing what they're saying from outside the perspective of the story to a certain degree. But not really at the same time. I've made this more messy and complicated than I even meant to, so, I'm going to leave it where it lies.
You're just working through your own thoughts out loud.
Well, yeah, essentially, because it's something I hadn't really thought about before. I swear to God, I watched a YouTube video. It's mainly used for screenshots. He's talking about the Minecraft second-person perspective thing. Like I said, I had to see what you consider second-person perspective in that case. I would say link it in Discord, but I'm not going to open up Discord, so I'm not going to...
I keep forgetting you're part of that.
I keep forgetting I'm part of that. I literally, the only time I remember it was when someone says the word Discord. I feel like a nerd because I'm like, I'm in Discord. Like,
by myself.
Yeah, I'm in 2 different Discords that I never use. So, I'm really, really stretching my social butterfly wings, I hopefully one day will burst forth from this cocoon of not really. No, I don't like talking to people that much, man.
Which is funny, how you are just talking to chat this whole time.
Well, I like my me time, and I'll be honest with you, this turns into me time. This turns into me just talking about, I enjoy
and people... someone can't interrupt you.
Well, I was talking about it earlier.
Fuck.
One of the
God
things...
damn it, reset it.
That's funny.
I gotta stop talking during the turbo tunnel.
You do, but
Yeah.
no. One of the things I was commenting on our last stream was the fact that Megadan, I really enjoyed being in the chat because he was more than willing to actually just like ask questions and and be communicative with his responses as well as his questions. So I thought it was very interesting. Mind you, I don't know what questions anyone could have about Battletoads at this point because my God, you've been playing it nonstop for over a week.
9 days.
I know how weeks work. I counted myself. It's funny, I was explaining to my father the other day where I was like, the days of the week actually come from Norse mythology, which is funny. So like Thursday is actually Thor's Day. Wednesday, Woden sometimes had spellings where a W would come before the O, so it's Woden's Day,
Okay.
Friday is Freya's Day. Doesn't matter. There's a couple that don't work, like Sunday and Saturday aren't direct translations to because like I've heard people stipulate that like Searcher's Day for Saturday, maybe. There's not a lot of actual proof that I've seen for that because I only read one thing that talked about the days of the week in that way, but it's very funny when you think about the things that we use in the English language coming from kind of all over the place. We also use fucking Arabic numerals, which is really funny to think about. We're like, yeah, Roman numerals kind of suck, and no one's likes using these, so we're just gonna use the Arabic numerals. Way easier to fucking go with. Call saying, seen too much Battletoads to really have meaningful questions. Yeah, no, I agree. And the only questions I have are about like the fucking plot and story, and it seems like no one's...
It is the most paper-thin excuse to be doing what you're doing.
No one's really concerned with the story, including the game itself. So, yeah. He's saying that the days and the weeks are an amalgamation of different cultures throughout history. I easily buy that. But I wouldn't disagree with that at all. I thought it was very interesting to see the direct correlation to... Because there isn't a lot of stuff that's actually kept over from kind of Scandinavian roots into English, from when they invaded England, obviously. You see a lot of Germanic roots. It's actually one of the things I had to find out the other day that technically English isn't one of the Romance languages. It's actually an English, or not English, a German descendant language, and German isn't considered one of the Romance languages, which is interesting. I don't know what dictates Romance languages. I know like Italian, Spanish,
French, yeah.
French. I know those are all romantic languages, but I'm not sure exactly what dictates them as such. Like what aspect of the language itself that makes those receive that criteria. Cole says, and weird. Oh, sorry. Cole says only two things that use Roman numerals are Star Wars, and Super Bowl, and weird clocks, I guess.
Hey, WrestleMania also uses it.
Yeah, I mean, there's a certain kind of pompousness that's used with Roman numerals, right? Which I find very interesting. I also find it very interesting when people fuck up Roman numerals, because they're not that complicated. Like,
Funny how Gavin did it last night with Armored Core.
Oh, did he really?
He called it Armored Core 4.
Instead of 6?
Yeah.
That's hysterical. Yeah, I mean...
believe my pompous ass corrected him real quick.
Or, like, dude, I got so upset the other day, because I was working with my coworker, Doug, and he was counting something. And the way that he was counting it, I thought he was using Roman numerals. But no, he was using a tally system. So I saw him go up to 3, and I saw him go up to 4, and he put a 4th line, and I was like, oh, I thought you were using Roman numerals. He's like, no, I'm using a tally system. I was like, okay, cool. But then he didn't cross through...
Oh, he kept doing, like, tick marks?
Yeah, he didn't cross through the 4 to make that a batch of 5. He just kept doing fucking vertical ticks. And I was like, that's not tallying either. That's just a thing you just, like, yeah, you're just doing tick marks basically at that point. Cole is elucidating his knowledge of the Roman numerals in the chat for everybody who's confused about how they work. I appreciate that, Cole.
That's less work that Justin has to talk about doing.
Yeah, I wasn't going to do it. I wasn't going to talk about doing it, so you're incorrect on both fronts, because that would have been work as well. It's like the only time that I think it's kind of valid to get confused by Roman numerals is when you get up to like the hundreds and the thousands, because then you start having like C for 100s, and you start having X's for thousands, and
X is 10.
X is 10. Sorry, not X. It's fucking M. Sorry, M for thousands. And it gets a little messy. Or maybe, and even then, it might actually be C for thousands and M for hundreds. Like I said, when you get to that large of a number for Roman numerals, it gets a little foggy in my opinion. Matthew Perez is saying, stream more chess!
We do have the NES hooked up, and we do have Chessmaster.
Oh God! I mean, I'm not sure if he was here to hear us talk about playing chess last night, but yeah, man. Oh.
Yeah, Matt was in the Discord earlier commenting on it.
Fair enough. Yeah, Cole saying they played chess at one point. Yeah, last night. What? Technically this morning, I guess.
Yeah, it was like 4 a.m., 4:30 by the time we wrapped up.
Yeah, and Nathan didn't play any chess at all. I was tempted to ask you to play, but then I was like, man, you know,
y'all would have stopped me.
Yeah,
because I'm that guy that makes random opening moves and tries to make shit work from the chaos in the back half.
I don't know my opening super well, right? You know, it's really funny because one of the things I didn't talk about is when Jamal and I first opened, I played white, he played black, and he played the Queen's Gambit against me, which is one of the few openings I know the first 2 moves of, and that's it. I don't know any of the theory past the first 2 moves. But basically what you do is you trade a pawn in the middle, and then you move your queen into the middle of the board very rapidly. And he ended up doing that. The second, and when we drew that game, the second game that we played, I did it to him. I used his opening against him and then beat him with it, which is one of the reasons why I think he was a little
cranky,
little upset about that. But dude, he kicked my ass the third game. I had a drawing position where I could have drawn that game and won the overall, but I fucked up my draw and I gave it to him and I let him checkmate me. And it was funny because he didn't even see it was checkmate. He was his piece. And I was like, bro, that's checkmate. And he was like, yeah, I knew that. Call saying, I was talking about the Chessmaster game. Well, to be fair, the Chessmaster game
is NES, and that's what's hooked up now.
Exactly what I was going to say. Call continues, I don't really know openings. I never bothered to learn the full sequence. Well, with openings, the thing that's interesting about openings is a lot of memorization, where it's like, the further you get into the opening, the more variations you have to learn to memorize. So, you know, your opening has 1 move to start with. And then maybe a second move and a third move that are pretty textbook, but and sometimes not even that. You know, sometimes with a second move you have decisions to make. But definitely by the third or fourth move, you know your opponent has played moves and you need to respond. And you know they either know your opening or don't know your opening, and you need to know your opening so well that you know what pieces to move in response. Right? You want to have 3, 4, 5, 7 variations. Yeah, variations of a single opening. You know, so you have to not just know an opening. An opening is about knowing the variations of that opening into a mid-game. And that's where you lose me, because my memorization skills have never been good. You know, I enjoy history, for example, but I do not memorize dates. And I do not memorize, you know, who was our 6th president, John Quincy Adams. I just happen to know that because I was watching something earlier. But, you know, dude, like, I fucking forget Lincoln's fucking president number sometimes. I think he's our 15th. Or 14th or 16th, like I get really foggy on that kind of shit because like just like the strict memorization doesn't really work for me. What I tend to do is I tend to remember like themes, element, plot. You know, putting things into plot structures help me memorize them. Making it into a story. That's why a lot of times when I talk about history, I end up narrativizing it to a certain degree, which is actually kind of bad when you talk about it from the sense of like, you know, trying to keep history objective. But it's the thing that helps me remember it. You know, if you know, history has stories to tell that might not necessarily be fully true, but have, you know, at least a twinge truthfulness to them, I kind of want to tell them like a story, you know, because that's what works for me, and that's what I enjoy about history. Calls continue to talk about chess here. I just place pawns in the center and move horses and bishops out. That's really good practice, actually. If you don't have opening repertoire, one of the things you have to get good about is, well, one, not blundering, right? Not, you know, allowing a piece to be attacked or taken without any kind of defense. And the second thing you should get good about is just, you know, opening up your pieces. You know, getting your pieces out and involved in the game. One of the reasons why I struggled in the third game I played with Jamal was because we ended up doing a lot of trades on the opposite side of the board really early on, because I was trying to catch him with like an early check trap, basically, where I was going to prevent him from castling and I was going to try to catch his king out in the open. And he played well against it, and he didn't make any stupid blunders or mistakes that time around, and he punished me for it. So my attack ended up fucking totally devolving into nothing. He ended up trading out the pieces on that side of the board, and by the end of it, yeah, I was a pawn or two up, but that pawn or two advantage really wasn't beneficial in the face of the fact that I had all my pieces still trapped behind my pawns. You know, I had a bishop and a knight left, both trapped behind, well, the knight not so much, but the bishop was trapped behind the pawns, and he had two pieces that were already out, ready to be moved. So he was able to exert pressure on my position before I could do it on his again. Yeah, Cole's talking about mainline openings and variations. Dude, I mean, like I said, not the part of chess that I enjoy, right? And, yeah, I don't really enjoy the calculations that much either, because one of the things you have to get really good at is anticipating your opponent's move and calculating, you know, how they're going to respond to a given move, and whether or not their calculations are correct. Whole different story. Didn't mean to get into chess again. Cole saying, I played on chess.com a while ago, but fell out because climbing elo was stressful. I could easily go on these long losing streaks. Yeah, no, 100%, dude. I actually don't play online at all at the moment, just because I don't know. I know chess is one of those games where, like, if I start dedicating a lot of time and energy to it, it's a game that I'm not very good at, and it's gonna make me upset when I you know, it's gonna make me get my feelings. It's gonna make me upset. You know, no one likes losing too much. Ask Nathan here. I mean, he hasn't got this no death attempt run once, you know. But like I said in earlier streams, your tenacity is something that I definitely do respect about you. I lack that tenacity. You know, to a certain degree, we were talking about it in fighting games last night. You know, you kind of have to have that drive. You know, if someone's kicking your ass and beating you several times in a row, you have to have that. You
have to have fun losing.
Yeah, you have to have that drive to come back and, you know, and try to bring it back from that loss as well. And you know, I struggle with the execution in fighting games a shit ton. And that kind of drains my motivation as well, right? Where it's like, you know, I see myself not growing and not doing better and not being able to actually, you know, execute the way that I want to execute in the game. You know, it just makes me kind of disillusioned with the idea of continuing to play it at times. Call saying I had one asshole send me his course after checkmating me and calling me trash. Damn, son. The trash comment wasn't necessary. Saying course might be a good thing. I don't know. You never know. We might be playing against a big YouTuber. Actually, no. I calls the whole chess if he's saying that he did learn openings. He's probably not playing against a YouTuber.
God, what is the niche of fucking chess YouTube look like? My God.
Cole, you're making a very good point here. Where grinding on a single player experience is a lot different, and I agree with that, because there's a sense of inevitability, I feel like.
Also,
when it comes to a single player experience, where it's like, this isn't, you know, this is a mountain where, like, if I just keep walking up it, I will get to the top eventually. Whereas with playing against other people, you know, it's the ocean. It's not a mountain. It's not some stationary point where it's like, oh, I just need to get there. It is an ocean that ebbs and flows and rises and falls, and, you know, sometimes you go out there and someone, you know, to keep the analogy going on for way longer than it should, you know, someone's a fucking hurricane, man, where it's like they're on a winning streak and you can't touch them. You can't do anything, man. They have you and they have everyone else figured out. And then sometimes you play against people and, you know, they're just not finding their rhythm, and you're finding your rhythm, and it's the exact opposite experience. I mean, one of the things I do enjoy about Fighting Game Night is usually the diversity of games that we offer. You know, while we do have games where, you know, people might have played later iterations of earlier titles, or even like that iteration.
Yeah, fucking Colton. I was asking him at work.
Yeah.
I think there's like a 12-year age gap between me and him.
Fair enough.
And I was like, hey man, what kind of fighting games do you play? Because I didn't want to hook up all my consoles, but I wanted to have like 2 hooked up, right?
Yeah.
He's like, oh, I play the old Mortal Kombats. I'm like, okay, cool. I'm thinking he's talking about like Mortal Kombat like 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah.
Motherfucker hits me with the old Mortal Kombat, like the one with Freddy Krueger in it.
Yeah. Mortal Kombat 9. That came out on the PS3 and 360.
But like his ability just to pick up Ultimate Mortal Kombat 3 and just be a fucking wrecking force the whole night.
Oh, my man knows fighting games.
Yeah.
And that's obvious. I mean, he figured out some shit and he was like, I'm good to go. Bro, I mean, he literally, you know, had Ken for Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Ken was like, hey man, let me tell you a couple things you can do here. And he was like, man, he kicked your ass. So I was like, yeah, dude. I mean, he definitely has that ability to execute, which I just fucking fail to have. But yeah, like I said, I mean, that's why when you're going against people, it's a lot more like an ocean than a mountain to climb, you know? single player games have, very stationary goals that at one point through endurance, you can usually meet them. I'm not the best at Souls games, for example, but I could do a Soul Level 1, Dark Souls 1.
If you beat your head against it, God knows
Yeah,
I did.
I would get through it eventually. It might take me a year, maybe less, maybe more, but, eventually at some point I would get through it. Cole's talking about the guy who was sending him his fucking course and calling him trash. He's like, yeah, no, he wasn't big. This guy's like fucking 700 elo, which is not good. To give you an idea, most tournaments and stuff, like the big ones, usually cater for like 1,000 plus, unless it's like kids tournaments.
Yeah.
Like 1,000 plus for the elo there, like 1,200 is usually what
like,
people
is elo
have.
like IQ, where it's like even a couple points is like a huge fucking deal?
Yeah, well, yes and no. So the gap gets more important the higher in elo you get.
Okay.
So, we're at the place now where computers have achieved an elo that's impossible for humans to find. One of the things that, kind of upsets people a lot, I find, when they talk about chess is the fact that, we've gotten to the point now where computers are smart enough that we've come to the realization that, chess played perfectly is a draw. The only reason why chess actually works as a competitive sport is, one, because of the complexity and number of variations, and two, in the fact that, we're human, and people are bound to make mistakes, and people are bound not to perfectly memorize or have the perfect response always at the ready. And that human element is the only thing that's really keeping the game of chess engaging and competitive to a certain degree, which is really fascinating, because that was a discovery that we only had, since, like the early 2000s. They had chess computers back in the day playing, the Russian Grandmasters back in the 80s, and the Russian Grandmasters were still beating the chess computers. The chess computers hadn't gotten to that point yet, but now they're there. They're there, and they're the only time that we talk about elo when it comes to terms of how chess computers calculate their elo is when we make them play human openings. We make them play openings that we call like unbalanced, for example, where you're not getting even trades in the position, but you're trying to create some imbalance to kind of set your opponent on edge. The human element of the game is the thing that we're really at this point changing and evolving. The base of the game itself doesn't really have a lot of room for improvement, unfortunately, which is very interesting to think about. I mean, there's actually a database right now where if you have 12 or less pieces left on a chessboard, there's a database right now that has solved every single variation of what can happen, basically. Any 6 pieces, any number of spaces on the chessboard, it has been literally solved. We have a finite number of solutions for those. But that's only 6 pieces, and you start with a lot more than that, right? We have our computers have not gotten to the point where they can solve for every possible chess game that can happen with every piece on the board, because that number's in the billions. It's fucking.
I was gonna say, couldn't you do math to solve? Like...
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and they have done math to solve that number. That number is a quantifiable number. It might even involve, exponential numbers, to be honest with you. I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head. I don't remember if it's billions, trillions, or even a fucking Googleplex, right? But I know it's an infinite. It's a way beyond our ability to comprehend the size of the number. Essentially, it's too big of a number for our minds, our puny human minds, to understand at this point in time. Cole is talking about the number one engine right now is Stockfish. Stockfish has been the computer to beat all the other computers at this point in time. But like I said, that's only when we give the computers, unbalanced openings, essentially. But by creating that imbalanced position and giving one side a slight advantage, we try to see if that side can take advantage of that slight advantage. Stupid way of saying it, but yeah, essentially that's all it is. But yeah, no, I mean, they're still evolving, and they're still fucking getting bigger and bigger, but it does kind of give this sense of like finiteness to chess that I think is really fascinating, to me at least, personally.
Okay.
That chess is just a quantifiable game. It is easily, not easily, but it will one day be completely quantified. We'll have the quote unquote solution to chess, where it's like, I don't know. It's an interesting concept to me, but maybe not to other people.
I'll say you and Cole are having a conversation, so
yeah,
keep going.
Cole saying there are more combinations on a chessboard than atoms in the galaxy. Yeah, easily. Okay, so the number is fucking like a Googleplex plus kind of thing, where like it is a huge fucking number. But I mean, it is,
I had no idea Cole was so knowledgeable of chess.
apparently he used to play chess.com. The man had a hobby, Nathan. Okay. I do also play on chess.com, but I only play, like I said, I only play the bots usually. I can usually reliably beat the 1000 elo bot, and then I can usually on a good day beat the 1200 elo and the 1300 elo bots. But I have to be like really paying attention. Yeah, and no joke, usually like a little high or a little drunk, but not too much, because like,
But not both at the same time.
I get really sloppy in chess when I get impatient. I'm like, he's doing this to me. I don't want to do the calculations to fucking figure out if I should take this piece or not. Fuck it, I'm just gonna take it, and I get myself.
What's the longest you've sat and played chess for in one sitting?
Are you talking about one game, or are you talking
Multiple
about
games? Like you just sat down to play chess.
Oh God! So there was a work night we worked where
I wouldn't call it a work night if you're like, oh God.
Yeah, no, well, it really wasn't. This is back when I used to work with another guy who always insisted on being the driver of the truck. And it was fucking pouring ass rain, and you can't blow off the sidewalks, and you can't really sweep well in the rain. So we weren't doing that, and we were getting out every once in a while to check bags. But it was a slow weekday that rained the whole day, and we changed the bags the night before at all the trash bags or trash cans. So we kept getting out of the truck, but not actually changing any of the bags. So we were just walking the trash can. So dude, I was on my phone playing chess games nonstop for like, it must have been like 4 or 5 hours straight.
Because bro, I could totally set you up for a solo live stream playing the Chess Master while I'm gone at this party till I come back.
Oh God, I'm not sure that's the best idea. Do you really want chess nerds in here?
Absolutely,
They're
dude.
so pretentious, though. Like,
What are you talking about? Cole's blowing up our chat. Apparently, this is and Matt Perez already asked for it.
I say, Cole saying the 1000 elo bots are way worse than the 1000 elo players. 100%, yeah. Because
Well, you brought up a point before when it comes to like AI with this shit. It's easy to program an AI to be perfect.
Yeah.
It's hard to program an AI to not be, because at some point you're just programming them to have a percentage to make a mistake.
Yeah, I mean, you're programming to literally make mistakes. I mean, one of the things that's applicable to chess specifically, right? Let's say that, I'm playing against a 1000 elo bot, and a 1000 elo bot, has a great move against me, a middle move against me, and a terrible move against me. It's like it's 3 possible moves. I have it in check or something, right?
Yeah.
So I got these 3 moves to pick. Well, if it's a 1000 elo bot, something in the AI is telling that bot, okay, it's now not time to pick the best move. You have to be 1000 elo, quote unquote. So instead, we are going to, choose the second or third best option. Well, if they only have so many options, and those options are significantly worse than the best one that's choosing not to pick, then it's really fucking shooting itself in the foot. Whereas with a 1000 elo player, yes, they do sometimes have those blunders. Yes, sometimes they don't do the calculations properly. But generally, you're not going to see them say, oh, let me pick the third worst option in this position, right? It's hard to, understand exactly how they're looking at the position and how they're thinking you're looking at the position, right? The human element, the non-solved element, essentially. It's one of the things where I find very interesting, even talking about video games as well. One of the new things they've added in Rainbow Six Siege is like an AI thing that they're trying out, where you play as an attacker against these AI bots who are defending a bomb site and like try to use their gadgets and stuff. And they're trying to use progressive learning essentially to try to make these guys better at the game. But the problem is the AI is controlled by is server side. Well, the bots have all the information. The server's tracking my location constantly to know where I am, so it can ping, the other people's servers, for the online multiplayer. So the game always knows exactly where I am, what I'm doing, where I'm looking. It has to constantly compute that information. So the bots know that. The game has to decide when exactly the bots should act on this information, though. So that leads to really weird situations. Like, for example, I was playing Glaz, who has the ability to see through smoke grenades, and I popped the smoke grenade, walked into the smoke grenade, and the AI bot started just shooting me through it. And then I killed him. But the other bot heard the gunshots in the smoke and then shot exactly where the gunshots were and instantly killed me. Where it's like, well, the game was telling the bot to allow it to have that information, but an actual player who was playing that wouldn't know exactly where I was in the smoke based off of gunshots alone, of course. That's just not how human hearing works. You know, even if you got a great headset, you'd only be able to hear the general direction and know that I was in the smoke somewhere. You know, and players do that, but players spray smoke. You know, they don't know exactly where you are in it, so they'll spray wildly through the smoke and try to get a lucky headshot, or at least put some damage on you, or maybe get the lucky kill from body shots. Whereas the AI heard exactly where I was in the smoke and shot me directly. And that's not even explaining how the first bot heard me. I guess I heard my footsteps as I walked through the smoke to get the angle. I mean, like I said, one of the biggest struggles for AI, especially when it comes to procedural and progress learning, is to know how to use information appropriately and what information it should be acting on at any given moment. But I didn't mean to do a whole conversation about AI. It's probably not a good idea. You never know who might be listening, Nathan.
Google's listening.
Give me the fuzz. Dude, I can't believe that fucking Jon Stewart got canceled over that shit. Did you hear about that?
I did.
That, you know, the fucking Apple TV was like, no, we don't want you to talk negatively about, you know, China and AI. We have money in both of those. And he's like, well, then I guess we're just not gonna do this thing anymore.
Dude, have you watched The Daily Show recently?
I have not. Who's hosting the Daily Show right now?
I think it's Charlemagne right now, guest hosting, but like they just don't have a host since Trevor Noah left.
I'll be honest with you, one of the things I was thinking about...
I think it's time to put The Daily Show to bed.
So I was going to take an opposite opinion here, where I think The Daily Show could... Because The Daily Show has always been kind of a place for, like, comedy writers who have political opinions right. But they write comedy.
Sure.
About politics, right? Commentary, satire, whatever you want to call it. I think The Daily Show could become more serious. I saw that, who was the guy who got, Hassan Mehdi?
Oh, yeah, the...
Got his MSNBC show just, like, straight canceled, because of his opinions, essentially. And I was thinking to myself, I'm like, man, wouldn't it be interesting if, like...
Mehdi Hassan, I think is
Mehdi Hassan, yeah. Hassan, I always think his first name is his last name. But yeah, Mehdi Hassan got his show just straight canceled out of the blue on MSNBC. I'd be like, man, wouldn't it be interesting to actually have, like, an actual reporter running the fucking Daily Show? But I also don't know if he is even interested in doing anything comedy-wise, because the thing I kind of remember about the Daily Show is that it's hosted on Comedy Central. I mean, you know, like I said, it's usually comedy writing that's making commentary on politics. It's not usually a political show with political commentary bereft of comedy. So, I don't know. That was a thought that I had, but I don't really have any. I mean, shit, you can always see if Jon Stewart wants to come back. Now his show got canceled.
That'd be the funniest fucking thing.
Be like, hey guys, you know, I left in 2016, took that 6-year break.
Oh god, who was the guy that started The Daily Show?
I don't even remember his name.
His name is escaping me.
He never got really big.
Yeah,
I mean,
bring that guy back. For the fuck of it, just bring it back around. That'd be a funny bit. That'd be a funny bit for him to guest host.
Is he alive?
I hope so, or else this joke takes a turn.
Yeah, I was about to say, I mean, like, he was, like, middle-aged back in the early 90s. I'm not saying he is dead. I'm just saying the likelihood goes up by the number of decades you have under your belt. I should have fucking asked my mom if she was still picking up my dad today.
Fuck! Ooh, buddy!
Ooh, buddy!
I got slippery.
That got a little dicey there, Nathan. You get a little sloppy toppy in the execution.
A little bit. Someone's out there rolling coal.
Nah, it's a gas.
Oh.
Not even a fucking diesel.
You were saying about your mother and your father?
No, she's supposed to pick him up today and take him back to her house. I was just curious if she was going to do that at some point.
No, you're going to get a phone call. Be like, Justin, it's your Jewish mother you never knew you had. Can you do something for me? Damn it! Reset.
Nathan. You can't let it get to you, Nathan, okay?
I gotta stop interacting with you.
Oh, I
just need to be here. You be here.
I like how
I'll be here.
I like how for Nathan it's like, hey man, I'm gonna bring you guys Battletoads every day. Sits staring at a screen, not saying a word the entire time.
Oh, dude, I'm fucking
riveting content.
Why do you think the chat loves when you're here? Someone acknowledges them.
I like how you make the chat sound like an abused puppy. Just looking for pets. It's funny 'cause I actually don't need to have your stream up anymore now that you got rid of that stupid fucking emoji thing.
Oh, bro, hold on.
Hold on, indeed.
Oh no, the cartridge was... Okay, we're good.
Was it fucking up?
Yeah. Because it's funny, because like in one of the earlier ones... What up, Stampede?
He's driving home.
Yeah, in one of the earlier streams, or I think it was the first one that Megadan was here for.
Okay.
I made it to the end of the turbo tunnel, and the game glitched the fuck out.
Oh, shit.
To the point where, like, you could still see the images, but, like, the color was warped. I managed to beat the turbo tunnel, but, like, I started level 4, and it was just, like, shapes.
Yeah.
With no detail.
Yeah, you're like, nope.
I'm like, no, I can't do this.
Nope. I mean, it is interesting when you talk about the decay of physical media, man. I mean...
Well, it wasn't so much decay, it was, like, the cartridge shifted weird.
Sure, but, I mean, the thing to remember about all this analog media is that, you know, a lot of it is mechanical.
Yeah.
And, you know, I was talking about this with Colton last night, actually, briefly, where I was like, you know, it's fascinating to think about, you know, that, you know, we're losing people who can effectively work on these things, as well as the parts necessary
yeah, like my CRT
to work
TV,
on these things.
I am afraid to open it, because, like,
Yeah.
that thing could kill me if I
Yeah.
touched the wrong thing.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Like, I'm getting blown through a fucking wall if I, like, touch the wrong screw.
Hey, man, rupture the gas in that bulb and inhale it real quick and, you know, tell me if you see an afterlife. But yeah, no, I mean, it is fascinating when you think about it from that perspective, where it's like, you know, VHS tapes, the older cartridge-based systems, as well as even the disc-based systems like PS2s and stuff. You know, they're gonna...
Oh, fuck you, dude. It spawned me on that.
That's unfortunate.
I mean, I'll still beat him, but it's whatever. Continue.
But yeah, we're going to get to a point where we're going to lose the ability to actually keep these things running the way they're originally designed, you know?
Well, dude, that's why a big thing with retro game, like, disc-based systems is, optical disc drive replacements. So, like, the Dreamcast is real bags. They use, like, there's something with the laser in Dreamcast that make them notoriously hard to replace.
Interesting.
I think it uses a, someone who knows what the fuck they're talking about could probably answer this.
Yeah.
But, like, Dreamcasts are failing at a high rate now, and there aren't a lot of them out there. So, a lot of people are doing optical, or ODEs, or optical disc drive emulation, and replacing the laser with an SD card.
Interesting.
Saturn's real popular for this, Dreamcast's real popular for it, just because there's not a lot out there.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that makes perfect sense. I mean,
like, games are expensive for these consoles. Like, dude, Saturn games, there's a reason, like, the games I haven't got a new Saturn game in a very long time.
Yeah.
Because, like, the air quotes good ones, you're talking $100 and up.
I mean,
like, some of them in the thousands.
And talking about all this as well, you know, these things weren't designed to run forever. You know, I mean,
it's moving parts.
These things, you know, are going to have wear if you use them. You know, the only people who, you know, are going to keep the shit perfectly working are the ones who don't use them, right? You know, who just store them or something. You know, Cole here talks about how, you know, there's always going to be hobbyists to keep it alive, but, you know, things are going to get harder and harder to find. And yeah, I mean, it is fascinating to see kind of the once universally used medium for a certain media, like VHS tapes, for example, or video games in its different forms, just kind of decay to a certain degree, you know, and be left...
Which is what they're doing. It's funny, because, like, VHS tapes, like, have that kind of... that unique look to them when you're watching them on, like, a CRT, right?
Yeah.
And we're so used to that decay, and it's like, oh, the VHS tapes look really fucking good. I'm going in a different direction here.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I mostly just wanted to be like, remember when we found that sealed copy of Merlin?
Yeah.
And we popped it open, we watched it on the fucking CRT TV. That was fucking clean as fuck, dude.
Man.
It looked so fucking good, because it was an unwatched VHS tape. It was sitting there for 30 fucking years. We were the first ones to watch it.
I have to say, man, Merlin was magical as a miniseries when I was a kid, and it was magical to watch it again, actually, like...
Oh, it's a bad show, but it's a fun show.
It's a fun show. I mean, it's not great, no, it's not poetry, but, like, I don't know, I think it has a charm to it, and I think definitely...
I think the charm by watching on VHS on a CRT added to the enjoyability of it.
Especially because it wasn't warped, because my god, I mean, fucking...
We've watched some trash tapes.
I remember watched 7 on one of your CRVs, and that bitch was just like blue coated in a weird way.
I didn't mind it.
Yeah,
I think the grime worked for a movie like 7, But like, we did get another VHS copy of 7 that we found and watched that, and it's like, oh no, this does look noticeably better.
Yeah. Fucking Cole's talking about the 360. You know, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty scared every day with my 360 will have the red ring of death. Although the 360 isn't hard to replace right now, that will change. Yeah,
I mean it might.
100%.
Yeah.
It's interesting because, you know, the more generations there are, the more generations you see decay. And, you know, I was working at GameStop where I saw that change happen, where, like, you know, they'd stopped entirely having PS2 games and original Xbox games, and then I was seeing it start to happen for the 360 and the PS3 era. I talked about this before, you know, where, like, they were just like, oh, these games we have so many of, just throw them out. Just put them in the garbage can.
Yeah.
They're not worth anything. And I'm not saying that the company is inherently wrong to do that, but the thing I think is interesting is the fact that, you know, GameStop is so short-sighted that, you know, they didn't see that, you know, this is a limited media. The best thing to do to it would be to ship back to the fucking warehouse. Just go store in a fucking warehouse somewhere, man. Yeah. I mean, shit, I don't know.
Well, I remember I brought this up, I forget whether it was yesterday or not, but, like, GameStop throwing away DS cases. Like, yeah. they don't care about preservation, they care about selling.
Yeah, I mean, they're a commercial business, and they definitely show it any way they can. Cole's talking about his 360 still. He says, I accidentally hit a cord and spent 15 minutes trying to turn it back on yesterday. Yeah, that'll happen.
Cole, what model 360 are you running?
Because, you know, it's what, the standard, the S, and the E model, which is the last model that came out.
And then there's different variations within each model.
Yeah, which sucked. And
because the original model didn't originally come with HDMI.
Man, can I take a second here?
Oh, please.
Cole's saying it's the base model, not the slim.
Bro, you got a base? Hold on.
Is it white?
Fuck. I gotta stop talking to chat.
I don't know why you started that conversation.
I know. This is my fault. What? Cole, do you have HDMI out on your base model, right? Because the base model, I think they called it the Falcon model, was the first model that came with HDMI out.
Interesting.
And allegedly that one had fixed the red ring problem.
Well, all the red ring problem was a cheap...
The thermal paste coming loose or whatever.
It was a cheap heatsink.
Yeah.
The Chinese heatsink they used didn't actually absorb the heat well enough and would
it would melt, and then that's what would happen.
Yeah. But,
like, you can fix it. Like, it's not impossible to do it, but you shouldn't have to.
Cole's saying it's standard. Hold on, it's black. I may not...
If you have a black base model, that's the original Elite console.
He's saying I was wrong. It's a 4GB slim.
Okay, then you should be fine.
Yeah, but dude.
Fun fact with the 4GB slim, that 4GB is internal memory.
Yeah.
And I think the way that the console recognizes it is as a memory card. Like when you're like selecting storage for shit, I think that's how it does it.
Cole's saying he had to buy a hard drive to play original Xbox games. I didn't need to buy a hard drive for it.
Yeah, because it's emulation based.
Yeah.
And they do software updates. And in order to do that, you need a certain amount of space.
Stampede says, Falcon model? Are you out of your Falcon mind?
These are my people.
Just gonna let that lie. Just gonna let that lie. But no, you know what I want to bitch about real quick? Just real quick fucking segue here.
Bro, I got about another 30-40 minutes in me before I gotta start getting ready to go, so take your time.
The fucking power cords for the Xbox 360. Fucking shoot me.
There were like 10 different models.
If I ever had a customer come in and be like, hey, I need a power cord for an Xbox 360 model, I am literally on my phone calling in a hit on this customer while they're talking to me. Because I want this motherfucker dead. Because, oh my god. Because you not only have the problem of there being a million different types, but the problem of the employee taking it in, not knowing the different types, and not knowing which one goes to which. So you'd have people taking in, you know, the E model ones that were actually just original ones, but the E model got you higher trade credit, so employees would give them that one instead so they get more credit on their trade, but that's labeled incorrectly. So when I order that in from the fucking warehouse for an original Xbox, and it's actually an E model one, that's fucking worthless to me. And now I gotta call a customer and explain, like, oh yeah, you've been waiting weeks for a thing that was incorrectly taken in and never checked at any point, because that's not how GameStop fucking worked. Anyway, I'm sorry. I always had people come in for that shit. I was so happy when the Xbox One and the PS4 launched, after the before the PS4 Pro, and they were like, hey, we figured it out. We're using the same power cable. and then
yeah, because like the model PS4 Pro uses like an old school like
PC
cable.
Yeah, and then the PS4 Pro came in big dick swinging like,
and
no
then,
baby, we need that extra juice. All right, totally different power cable.
Yeah.
It's like, you motherfucker.
Because the PS4 Pro that I'm using is yours, and it's that launch model Pro.
Yeah. Call says you should have pictures of each cord to show the customers so they can tell you which one. Well, so that wasn't the problem though. The problem was the people who, the employees at GameStop who were taking in the cables would label it as the wrong cables because they themselves had never been educated on the difference between the different models of 360 cables. I was not an Xbox player, but
Yeah, you've been PlayStation all day.
But I could read a power cable and say, oh, this is an E model, it's an S model, that's an original model. They had different power bricks, they were different sizes, they had different fucking endpoints. Dude, I would sometimes see power cables like taken in where it was only half the power cable.
Yeah, because like
it would be the brick to the console, but not the brick to the outlet. And it's like, it's just because the employees didn't know. They didn't train their employees for technical competence. They trained them to be salespeople.
Yep.
And what are salespeople going to do when they see 3 of the same thing listed in for trade-in value, and one number is larger than all the other numbers? They're going to try to give the customer the biggest number possible, despite the fact that might not be the right thing. Anyway, tangent over. I don't want to talk about it. You're bringing up my PTSD right now. Okay, I was in the GameStop
Wars. Yeah.
Fucking.
Thank you for your service.
Thank you, Nathan. For your service. And thank you for thanking me.
Never thank me for my service again. The birds.
Yeah, usually most people would actually bring in their power cable. I'll be honest with you, I very rarely had a problem with the customer. Every once in a while you have that one customer be like, oh, I just need an Xbox 360 power cable. And I'd be like, okay, what model 360 you have? And
the one that plays the 360 games.
That definitely did happen more than once. I'm not saying it didn't happen, but I'm not as frustrated with that because all I had to tell the customer is, hey, let me show you some pictures. Or hey, you know, is it white? Is it black? Let me show you some pictures, and we try to figure it out. And then I tell them, hey, if this is not the right one, come back. I'll swap it out for the right one. Or next time, bring in the cable or the system itself. I can tell you if you have to come back. And most people were fine with that. Most people were like, oh, you know, I don't know my shit. That's my bad. No, the employees were the ones. And again, GameStop itself failing its employees was really the big problem there. But that was like a systemic issue. It was just one of the things most exemplified in that specific interaction. You know, I was talking about the knockoff fucking Pokemon games the other day. Same shit. It's because GameStop didn't train their employees to actually have a level of competency. They just assumed everyone who wanted to work at GameStop must already have the prerequisite knowledge.
Yeah.
No training necessary. Paul says, being salespeople versus being competent can go hand in hand and shouldn't be one or the other. Well, GameStop at one point tried to do some shit, but for training, I'm not sure if you remember the level up system.
Yes.
But
that was like the tail end of when I was there.
But the problem was all their education was focused around sales.
Yeah.
So, or GameStop policy. So you'd have things where, like, you know, they'd make you do tests on, like, you know, active shooter drill, or, you know, fucking, or, you know, how you should take in trades, or how you should, like, all the inventory back-end shit, which is stuff you should know as an employee. But there's nothing in there for actual game knowledge. The only time they had actual game knowledge popping up was for new games. So you could sell pre-orders. So the tests that we used to take on new games would be like, you know, hey, what are the pre-order bonuses for it? What systems does it come out on, you know? And that was all just shit for selling. That wasn't actual, you know, making us better at actually doing our job by being more knowledgeable about games in general. Cindy's saying, tell us how you really feel about GameStop, Justin. Cindy, if you insist, okay, so it all happened in 2016. That was when I first got...
But no, Call, there has to be a local game shop near you. I refuse to believe there is not one within a 30-minute drive.
A lot of them are undercover, man. Like, a lot of them are real small, hole-in-the-wall kinds of places.
Like, I had to search mine out. Because, like, it is the only game in town that's not like a pawn shop.
Mind you, when it comes to retro gaming spots, the trend to oversimplify that I've noticed is you get 2 kinds of people who run it, right? The number of people may vary, but 2 types of people. You got the motherfucker who care, and are passionate, and the motherfucker who are scummy and want to make some money, all right? I mean, my God, there was that place over in Winchester that was cheat codes at one point.
You're just fucking name dropping, okay.
Well, they're not cheat codes anymore.
They're not open anymore.
Yeah. I mean, the guy went through went through several different iterations of that shop, closed down, moved location, reopened,
4 times.
rechanged name, and all the reports I heard was the reason that he was doing it was because he was a jackass who, you know, would underpay, overcharge, and kept getting in trouble for taking money and not actually keeping a good like a good system of keeping like he taking shit for like, you know, repair money. Like he charged people before the repair was done and shit like that, and then like keep the console or not do the repair and not refund the money, like just scummy shit like that, or like have obviously bootleg versions of games that he should know are bootleg and sell them and then not do refunds and stuff.
See, I didn't hear all this.
But this is all gossip through the grapevine, mind you. I don't feel bad talking about it because, like you said, he's not even in business anymore, and the name I just used wouldn't even have been the name of the most recent iteration of his business. So, I mean,
Sure.
I doubt you could even find anything on it at this point.
No, he started making money in the graded card market, and I think that's just what he's doing now.
Cindy's saying that she told you about that shop, so she wants to take some of the credit here.
Dude, he has a solid shop there for a while. I really liked going there.
Cole says, did she tell you about Panhandle or did she tell you about cheat codes? But Cole says, the only place I have found to sell 360 games is half-priced books.
Oh, God, yeah, you have one of those.
Yeah, that is the thing that happens. It is always interesting when you see, like, places that don't do video games try to sell video games. One of the things that Panhandle, she's specifying, is the one she told you about. You know, one of the things that I do, because, you know, Nathan and I had talked about it before, it's a habit I had gotten from GameStop, obviously. When I take in a trade for a game, the first thing I'm doing is I'm opening the game, I'm checking it's the right game, the right version of the game, and that it's not damaged and whatnot. Because some people try to scam you. Some people are wrong by accident, some people try to scam you, but you have to be aware either way. And I see Nathan doing, like, literally putting his GameStop training into use of, like, Goodwill, because, dude, Goodwill does not do any of that shit at all. You know, Goodwill, you open the case, no game in it. Or you open the case, wrong game in it. Or open the case and the right game, but just completely fucked disc. Like, the most fucked you've ever seen a disc in your life. And you can't really blame them, because, like, they're not a game store. But, you know, it is one of those things where it's like, you have to, at that point, as the buyer, you know, buyer beware kind of mentality, right? Where you have to be super kind of aware on that and try to stay on top of it. Call saying he got the original Skyrim with the map for $5. Nice.
Yeah, getting the map is kind of nice.
I gotta use the restroom real quick.
Yep, do your thing.
Here, this is a good section. You don't need as much focus for the ice section, I feel like.
I've made some stupid decisions
Well, I
here.
saw you die here earlier this stream, so I do know that for a fact.
Yeah. I'm aware of Goodwill for that reason. Dude, you can get some nice shit at Goodwill. The problem is, like, with Goodwill, you gotta go every fucking day. Like, dude, I've walked into Goodwill and found, like, Wii U stuff. You never see that shit at Goodwill. Like, I got the Sonic... Oh, what do they call it? The name's escaping me, but, like, the Sonic game on Wii U, there's a version that has bonus levels on it. Like, on the disc, I believe. Hold on. And, like, that version, like, doubles the value of that game up to, like, a $50, $60 game. Where the normal one, I think, is, like, 20 or 30 last I looked. Yeah, Cole, always. It's 360 stuff, if you're into collecting for a generation, the one I recommend doing right now is 360, because there's so goddamn much of it out there. Like, I don't always find games when I go to Goodwill, but when I do, it's a fucking 360 game. But always open the fucking case. Hold on. It's hard to talk and play. It's really nice having Justin deal with the chat. something else I recommend when you're looking for games, check the DVD section. Because I've found more than one GameCube game at Goodwill because someone put instead of putting it in the game case, they put it in with DVDs. Alright, after the night we had, something is telling me this is not going to be a quick bathroom break from Justin. Well, maybe it was a quick trip, after all. Hey, before you sit down, can you grab me a seltzer?
Of course.
Appreciate it.
How many seltzers do you have left, Aiden?
2.
You're correct. You passed this pop quiz.
Whew, I almost landed right on that bomb. Here, keep it over there until I'm done.
I got you. Oh. Ah. Yeah, Carl's talking about how wary he is of Goodwill, which is fair. I mean, dude, it's one of those things where, you know, as the medium of, you know, analog gaming, media in general, VHS tapes, things like that,
yeah,
as it continues to accrue value, one of the things that we're seeing is more people scalping and hunting for it. You know, like, you know, Nathan and I will be at Goodwill, just be like, hey man, like, what movie can we watch on, you know, on your VCR?
Yep.
And you'll have guys in there, you know, scanning every fucking thing, you know, looking to see, is this worth money? Is this worth money? Is this money?
Which I'm not against them doing that. God knows I've done it.
Not gonna hate on a motherfucker at all for it.
But like, it just goes to show that it's going to be harder to find, and when you do, it's going to get more expensive.
Right, exactly. You know, like I said, as they continue...
That's why you need to collect 360 and PS3 now.
Oh yeah, you know, get it watched cheap.
Exactly.
I mean, shit, I'd say even to a certain degree, PS2 still has a lot of mass-produced titles that I think you can get, a lot of quality games you can get for cheap now that may not always be cheap forever.
To go on a side note, because you can't die in this portion of the level, the most I can do is reset.
Okay.
360 PS3 is like the last console generation where most of that stuff is going to be on the disc and playable when the servers shut down. Now, granted, there's going to be a lot of, especially on PS3, because they had that standardized hard drive where the Xbox 360 didn't. Holy shit, what the fuck? Yeah, collect that stuff now, because that'll always be playable as long as the disc and the console work. Where, like, once you start getting into Xbox One, PS4, there's not going to be a lot of value long-term in those physical versions of those games.
If you have the means and inclination, mind you.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know, the 360 and PS3 to me even is kind of like, you know, the online generation to a certain degree.
Yes, they're...
Like
that is correct.
That was the one that started the trend, and it is always funny to look back and, you know, I've mentioned it before, but I'll mention it again.
Well, it's the one that started the trend as we see it today,
right?
Because there was online for GameCube, PS2, and
right, but you know, not as integrated, right?
Right.
But no, I mean, it's interesting to look back and look at the trend for, you know, the Xbox One, for example, when it had its launch, and they were talking about how, you know, oh, it's going to be online all the time, DRM, yada yada yada. And at the time, people were like, "That's ridiculous." Don't get me wrong.
GameStop led that charge.
Was the business model still bullshit? Yeah, 100%.
Fuck me, dude. All right, I'm giving it one more reshot, and then I think I'm gonna call the stream.
Okay.
Because I do have to get ready to go.
But no, all I was gonna say is the fact that they did kind of call a shot there, where it's like, no, things are going to more digital medium. and more digital media, while they want to exert control over that, and I don't enjoy that.
Oh God, can you shut that window? Because it is now, the sun's starting to come through.
Piss, boo, not the sun.
That'll do, pig.
If you keep calling me pig on stream, people are start getting worried. Even though that is literally my favorite movie of all time. One of these days, I'll be honest with you. You want to know when I'll know we've really made it? If you can somehow convince...
This is the one, Nathan. Thank you, Stampede. I hope it is.
I believe in you. Not really. eBay's nice for the convenience. Cole, I do agree. I don't buy a lot of things on eBay, though. I mean, I buy things here and there, but...
I purchase a lot of stuff on eBay.
Yeah,
that's mostly where I get my...
Which is so funny, because, like, you came to me, and you're like, hey, man, like, eBay, how do you feel about it? And I was like, what about shit on eBay? And you're like, is it good? Is it fine? And I was like, yeah, I've generally had good experiences. Sometimes you have a bad experience, but I mean, I think it's pretty positive. And then you just went like, fucking neck deep, baby. You dived in the deep end of the pool on that one.
Well, you have to for some of these games, because we don't have a lot of retro conventions around here. And like stuff for the Sega Saturn and the Dreamcast, like you won't find it.
Sorry, I'm getting text messages. The rarity for me, I know.
I'll say, I keep forgetting that you know other people but me.
I know lots of people. Dude, like, why do so many people want to have friendships and talk? Some of my favorite friendships are ones that I haven't talked to the motherfucker in years, alright? Like, my god. Not to kind of weirdly paraphrase a Ron Swanson joke, but, like, I don't know, like... Not to get into a whole tangent about it or anything, but...
No, you're not one for tangents.
Our buddy Shotty was talking about, he's like, man, we gotta meet up more, I'm like, I'm fine with meeting up every once in a while. Like, don't get me wrong, hey, you wanna meet up more? I'm down to meet up more. But they don't feel like our friendship is on the line if we don't meet up more. I'm fine with not meeting up that often. Are you... You know, I'm gonna laugh when you blow a 0 this time. And then this is the no death run attempt that does actually end up working. That would be very amusing to me.
0.04. So at this rate, yeah, I'll be...
You're half as drunk as when you started.
Literally.
You feel any of that hangover yet?
It's the dehydration starting to hit in.
Starting to kick in a little
Notice
bit?
how, you know me, I'm one to pee within 2 seconds of having a drink, right?
Yes.
I've had 3 seltzers and not got up to pee this stream, so the dehydration is real.
Cole says, a strange thing about me game collecting is I have, like, 2 games. I play almost constantly, and don't really pick up many games I've never played.
Cole, I play, like, 3 games on the reg, this being the main one right now.
Yeah, Nathan's more one to talk about in that regard, because I am the exact opposite. I'm constantly trying to find, like, new games, new experiences, but I do get hung up on old stuff. I mean, you know, I've put, like, 300 hours into Elden Ring, for example. And I've put a lot more than that into some of the multiplayer games I play. Like, did I tell you that my Siege hour count, I think, is either close to or over 3,000 now? 3,000 hours.
That's a couple weeks,
Siege,
man.
Bro. Like, just weeks of my life, if you take it in, like, a consistent manner, just gone. Just fucking deleted it.
With nothing to show for it.
With everything to show for it. Do you know how good I think I am at that game, David?
Are you Diamond tier yet?
I hit Emerald a couple times. Emerald's the new tier they put between Platinum and Diamond.
Yeah, yeah, okay. They needed that. What you doing over there, Poe?
I'm getting my headache medicine.
Oh, okay.
Do you want some?
Yes, but no.
I can give you a shotgun if you want.
But not in a... My mouth was open.
I had to taste that, you son of a bitch.
Oh.
Sorry, my sinuses, you know, it must be a sinus infection, that's why I'm coughing.
Oh, yeah,
you know.
Not the herbal remedy you just took.
Incense don't count as herbs, okay? Nathan. You know what they say, admit nothing, do everything.
Is that what they say?
No. Maybe the CIA agent. Like,
I think Call is.
You think Call's a plant?
Yeah, no, Call has definitely been sent to watch me. Why do you think he's always in my streams?
You see, I don't think so.
He's keeping tabs.
You are really bad at calling plants, because you called Jamal a plant last night, and I was like, bro, have you met Jamal? Jamal is the least plant-like plant I've ever seen planted.
It's what makes him a good plant.
Oh, damn. I didn't even think about that. It's all going around. Yeah, it's funny, you're right. Her hair is, like, blue here.
Yeah.
On the other TV, it looks purple. And then when you fight her, isn't it just black?
Dude, it's weird. So, we're playing on an original NES.
Which is weird.
There's the colors are different in the Xbox One, because you saw it on Retrobird's video, too, that we were watching earlier today.
Yeah.
In the opening level, those, like, little diamond-shaped things that are the ground texture.
Yeah, yeah.
There's 2 colors in each one of those on the Xbox version.
Oh, interesting. They just, like, spruce it up a little bit?
Like,
or?
I don't think they added textures. I think they fucking did weird saturation shit.
Did Battletoads release on anything other than the NES?
Yes.
What
But not
releases,
this version, though.
What other releases were there?
Well, technically they were remakes for the Super Nintendo and the Sega.
I was wondering if maybe the Xbox 360 version is porting a different version of the game slightly. Or maybe working from the original architecture, but I don't know. Doesn't matter. I mean, Battletoads is one of those games where I kind of heard it talked about a lot before I ever knew what it was, because it's
notorious for the difficulty.
Yeah, infamous for its difficulty. But like, and then I watched you play for the first time. I'm like, oh, this is what it is. Yeah, I'm good. Like, not my thing, as you're well familiar. I've been enjoying some new games recently, though. I mean, trying to at least.
Okay, well, talk about it because I will not be talking during this.
That is very fair. Well, one of the things I really want to do is go back to Cyberpunk, because I actually was having a good time with Cyberpunk for a while there, and I realized what I was doing wrong, because Cyberpunk is, an open world game, and it suffers from a problem that I think a lot of open world games right now are suffering from, where it's like, it's trying to figure out the right balance of, having a world to do things in and not making it too much like chore work, especially. Cole's agreeing with me, saying Cyberpunk is apparently really good now. That's what I keep hearing, man. The new expansion's great, and on top of that, they did a huge free DLC, apparently. So, I got like halfway through the game, and I was really enjoying the game. I was enjoying the characters and whatnot. The game just kind of tends to drag at certain sections. Like, anytime you decide to stop doing missions and to go do, like, some side jobs or some side quests, man, like, I just always felt like it dragged like a motherfucker. Well, let's also not even mention the fact that I wasn't really good at the build I was attempting to run, because Cyberpunk actually does have some RPG elements to it. So it's one of those things...
They overhauled the leveling system, too.
Yeah, so it's one of those things where, you can kind of have more diversity of build than you think you're going to have, right? Like, it's not like Skyrim, for example, where, like, usually by the time you get to, a certain point in Skyrim, you're good at a lot of things just in general. Like, you can definitely specialize, but, like, you're gonna have an armor proficiency in some type of armor. You're gonna have, a weapon proficiency or magic proficiency into whatever you've been killing things with. And then there's also the utility skills, which everyone's gonna level up. Like, who's not gonna level up lockpicking? Everyone's gonna try to lockpick a lockpick. So that one's that's gonna level up for every character. Sneaking almost falls in that category, not quite, but definitely lockpicking is one I've always been baffled by. Like, yeah, you can get better at it, but in Skyrim especially, you only can just break less picks, which is always a stupid way to get better at a skill. But I was talking about Cyberpunk. I got totally off on a tangent about that. But yeah, with Cyberpunk, you really can specialize. You really can get good at the guns, or good at specific types of guns, or good at taking damage, or good at dealing damage, or good at hacking, for example, which is one of the things that I actually, when I go back to it, I was thinking about trying out, because I've never really enjoyed magic, spell casting in games. It's always been kind of like my second pick, both in Skyrim and the FromSoft series. I usually start with melee builds, or in Skyrim I think it was like a archery build, but like a physical damage build of some kind. And then when I go back,
I really like being an archer in Oblivion.
Yeah, and then when I go back and I play it later, then I try out like the different, more complicated systems, if you will.
It's how I play Souls games, where it's like I'm always going for the tanky build, like. Give me fucking Havel's armor set whenever I can find it, and give me a katana.
Yeah.
Like, I want to swing fast and take a lot of hits.
Yeah, I mean...
And then I'll go back through and play, like, the glass cannon build, where it's like I wear shit armor, but like a heavy weapon that does a lot of damage but is slow.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, like, it's almost like a comfort zone thing to me, where it's like, I want to do what I think I do well first, and then I'll try whatever bullshit you guys have in this thing. And with my first attempt at Cyberpunk, I kind of did a weird build where I wanted to do a handgun focus. I thought it'd be really cool to have, like, you know, extra critical damage with handgun headshots, and maybe even do like some stealth work too, where like I'm just running around with like a suppressed pistol, headshotting enemies. And then I watch these fucking compilations on YouTube, man, and they are just way too good. They're so good at the game, and I'm trying to fucking over here, and I'm just like fumbling every stealth encounter and like slow sneaking like it's fucking Splinter Cell or some shit. And I'm like, okay, this build is probably not the right way to go. But I'm not really interested in starting a build right now because I'm not really enjoying the open world experience that this game is offering. But now that I've done all these updates, and now that people are saying that the leveling system definitely has, I think, something a little bit more to offer, I kind of want to go back and try it again. That's my goal after I beat fucking Resident Evil 4 Remake.
But you just need to buckle down and finish, because you're right there.
Yeah, that's basically all it is at this point.
That's kind of what I need to do with Village.
Yeah,
I would have done Village by now, but like I got into Battletoads, and it's just it's all I want to fucking do. Like,
yeah,
I am thinking about Battletoads at work. Like, it's just Battletoads is taking over my life in a way that, like, I don't think I played anything else but this, except for fighting game night last night.
I am, yeah, dude. Like the way you get about certain things sometimes, like your obsessiveness. Not to use too negative a terminology.
Right. It's like I'm having fun doing this. Like,
yeah. I mean, well, I mean, it's I bring up your tenacity to a certain degree, but I mean, you kind of have to have that obsessive behavior to
for something like this. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fuck me. I keep talking.
I didn't realize those platforms were that slippery.
They are.
Why are they piss platforms though?
It's a thing.
Is it a thing?
It's a thing. Hold on.
When Cole and I are just talking about other games now at this point. He was talking about how it's really,
You know what? Cole needs a friend. Hit reset. I'll do it one more time.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah.
You're doing Cole a favor here. Okay. Not yourself.
Yeah. No. I'm dedicating this run to Call of Dark Souls.
I would love it when you actually clip the successful run for, like, a video. And it turns out, like, it starts with, this is dedicated to Call of Dark Souls. Cole's talking about how he needs to beat Witcher 3. Dude, that was...
Oh, this is the guy to talk to about.
That was such a satisfying game.
You know what? I'm gonna take a little piss break.
Oh, little
yeah, no,
break?
Yeah, those 3 seltzers are catching up.
This better be the fucking run, all right? Cole's saying it. If it's not this run...
Hold on. Now you can just see Justin.
Oh, you want them to look at me?
Oh, they're looking at you, brother.
Hey, brother. You gotta stop spreading misinformation. I was just explaining it last night, all right? I would laugh if this is the run. All he needed was a pee break. You know, he was just holding in for too long. Now, the floodgates, both in the urinal and through his own expectations, we burst through. He'll make progress. I may try to figure out a way to challenge run it on my channel to force myself to finish it. Now, isn't that a funny way of thinking about how you address fun in your own life, right? You know, obviously you seeking a challenge out of it. I actually beat The Witcher 3 on the hardest possible difficulty, which is called Death March mode in that one. And it's one of those experiences where I don't think I could even do that today. I don't think I'd have the time and energy to dedicate to myself that task. But at the time, my sister was actually the one who bought the game.
We're still on Witcher 3?
Yeah. And she didn't want me to get further in the story than her. So she stipulated that I had to play it on Death March mode. It wasn't even a choice that I had. But my God, did that make that game much more satisfying. Because I had to... In Death March mode, you have to integrate with every system in the game. You have to know your oils. You have to know your potions. You have to know what you can and can't do. You have to use the signs that are effective against your target and actually read the bestiary and whatnot. Like, because of that experience, I have a really special place in my heart for that game. I don't think I could ever replay it, because if I went to replay it, I wouldn't want to play it on Death March. Sorry.
I'm gonna let you finish. But Beyonce deserves this award. No. This is gonna be a final run no matter where I die. So this could be 5 minutes. This could be 45 if I do it. I'm not gonna talk at all during this. Because that's when I keep dying.
Okay.
So this is your lane. I'm just gonna be over here playing.
These are my people.
I'm gonna be right here.
Yeah, I got you.
All right.
Hey, Nathan. I'm not sure if you've noticed. I'm here for you. Okay? And our YouTube channel. Which, please subscribe. There. I did my token bullshit. I hit my quota. Nathan's taking a vow of silence. Yeah, I mean, essentially, he's taking a, he's forming a covenant with himself. But, yeah, no, to finish my point on Witcher 3, though, I could never go back and play that game. There's no way. Because I wouldn't have the patience for the difficulty of it by playing it on the hardest difficulty. And any lower difficulty, I wouldn't need to engage with all the systems that I think really made the game interesting and charming and actually made me give a shit about that game's inventory and its systems. Like, that's like one of the only RPGs I can ever remember playing, where...
You piece of shit! No, fuck that. Reset it. I'm not... Reset.
Level 1?
He came out running.
Your hangover really is kicking in.
Oh my god, dude. This.
You would dedicate this one to Lost, or not Lost Call?
No, the last one was dedicated to Call.
Yeah, Call. The one he dedicated to you only went to level 1. That's rough. Is that how much you think of Call?
What I think happened there, like bullshit aside, I think when you're so far away from them, they're inclined to run to cover the distance.
Ah.
So I think I just waited too far back. But
I got you. Yeah, Cole says, makes sense the run dedicated to me is the one that he died the earliest. Yeah, I don't think I've ever seen him die on level 1 before.
I have.
I'm sure you have. I just haven't, I don't...
Level 2 is the one I haven't died on since I started these no-death runs.
I mean, once you figured out how to turn into a wrecking ball, I mean, it seemed like you really had that one figured out. Who told you how to do that, by the way?
Some user who watched one of my live streams and commented later.
That's funny.
Like, it wasn't a comment in the chat.
Yeah.
It was just I got a notification of a comment.
What did you come out?
And it just made that level so much more manageable.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I was having a hard time with the timing of it, but definitely seemed like that was the way to go for, especially the plannings and shit.
Like, something like that. Like, I have my criticisms of Battletoads, and, like, them not letting you know certain mechanics of the game. Because, like, I went through and read the manual.
Yeah.
And it didn't tell me how to do that in the manual, and it's one of those things, like... I'm just gonna stand up here.
It's safe.
Yeah, it's not in the manual that you can do those mechanics. And it's like, it doesn't teach you in the game. An issue my main issue with Battletoads is it does a poor job of conveying its mechanics to you.
Yeah. Which is interesting because, to a certain extent, you know...
Which, obviously, it's something that I've learned, but, like... For example, when Megadan was in here and I made it to the Terratubes, like, I told him, I was like... Punching, to stay still in the water makes the fucking underwater saw blades trivial.
Yeah.
Because you don't have to worry about, okay, if I float up here, I gotta time it. It's like, no.
Oh, yeah, you don't have to balance. You can just punch the whole time. That's funny. I've seen you do it before. Yeah. I was wondering how you figured that out, if you got told about that, or if you figured it out for yourself.
No, I literally didn't know it until I watched Megadan's no-death run.
Yeah. I mean, I guess it's a game that really wants you to experiment with the systems if you're having problems, but that is very unintuitive to me, at least. Yeah.
Like I said, I've played this enough to where, like, I feel like I've learned most of it. But, like, I mean, for new players, I feel like this game gets, like, unfairly stated as, like, the most difficult game on the NES. It's like, no, people just don't know how to play it.
Yeah, it is also kind of, I'd say, almost subversive, in its combination of both, like, hey, I don't want to.
Obviously, a no death run is difficult. Like
No.
I'm not sitting here saying this game is easy.
I don't want to oversimplify my opinion, but I do find this game to be a very interesting fuse of basically a like a beat 'em up and a like platform.
Standard platformer.
Yeah. But then also it has, you know, the elements to it too, like the weird racing mechanic that pops up twice, and then the two vertical levels, you know, this one and then with the snakes where you're going up.
Yeah.
So, you know, it does have definitely some outliers that make it its own thing, but it is interesting how it uses mechanics from other games as well. But then has like such a specialization in its own mechanics, like that, like you said, it doesn't communicate very well. Yeah. I don't know. There's no other game like it, and they didn't really make any other after, except for the sequels, I imagine. So I haven't seen a game play the way that Battletoads does, except for Battletoads, really.
Yeah.
Fucking, I can't believe Lost was talking about fucking Kingsfield there. Not Lost, fucking Call. Call was talking about Kingsfield the other day. At least I think he was.
I think it was Call that brought it up. He was definitely in the chat.
Yeah.
But that's one of those games where, like, we had Kingsfield 4, and, like, I hated playing it.
Oh, dude, we played not even minutes of it. We were like, nope.
It's a game now that's, like, because COVID fucking caused prices of video games to shoot up, and they still haven't come back down yet, and I don't think they ever will to what they were pre-COVID.
No.
But, like, that's one of those games that shot up, and, like, that's over $100 game now.
Yeah.
And, like, I think when I had it, it was, like, 15 to 20.
Call saying it's probably Dodgers talking about Kingsfield.
That sounds right.
I can't remember who it was.
That's a game I'd love to play for the channel, because, like, another reason I like having the channel is, like...
4 specifically, or any of the Kingsfields?
4 was the one we had. That's the one I have a minimum level of knowledge with, but... Because Kingsfield, I think it started on the PS1. Like, I think the first Kingsfield... There is a Kingsfield on PS1. I don't know if all 4 of them are.
I say Iron Pineapple,
or all 3.
The Souls YouTuber I've shown you, he actually has a series on Kingsfield.
Does he really?
Yeah, totally. That's the only reason I know anything about Kingsfield at all. Is he covered, I want to say like the first 2 or 3 of them, where he was just like, yeah, I'm just gonna play these because like fuck it. And dude, there's one Kingsfield game. I want to say it's the second one that he played, which might not have been the second one in the series, to be very clear. But there was one that he played that I think was a PS1 game, where you start off the game mostly finding like, you know, like knight's armor and melee weapons like swords and whatnot. Then a little bit later in the game, you start finding like bows and crossbows. And then you start finding Kevlar armor and assault rifles. And so like, and intermittent and all this is like magic spells and wands and stuff too. So like, there gets to a point where he's like, dude, he's like, the game is not fun to play by any stretch of the imagination, but there's something really novel about walking up to a flying scarab beetle, unloading my M16 in my one hand and my staff with my fireball with the other. That's just such a surreal experience. He's like, I don't like it, but it is interesting. And I was like, well, I don't know if that's a recommendation to play that game, but I enjoyed you talking about it at the very least. Because my god.
There's a game that I want to play with you on stream one time.
Oh? Just one time, huh?
Yeah, the way you described that reminded me of it. I'll talk after the Turbo Tunnel.
You know what I was thinking about the other day? So, you hit me up about the Christmas games, right? Which, I think we decided we're recording next time we're hanging out.
Yeah, because I realized we got time to do that.
Yeah. And so I started thinking about some of the games that I'd gotten for Christmas. And one of the first games that obviously popped in my head was Turok Evolution. But I actually didn't get that one for Christmas. I bought that one with Christmas money.
I think that counts.
Because I bought it from a fucking Toys R Us, because that was back when they were having, like, trying to do a couple video games, but now they were just, like, kind of over to the side, where they only had, like, 6 on display, really. And I went to Toys R Us, and, like, the game was on sale for, like, less than $10, and I was like, oh, for less than $10, I'll buy any video game, I don't care. And so I ended up buying it, and I am loving that game. But that reminded me of, I haven't thought about this in years, the hype I felt as a child about the Turok fucking remake on fucking, I want to say it's 360 and PS3.
The one with the Raptor on the front?
Yeah. I didn't have a PS3 or a 360 at the time. And I was like, dude, I was all up this game's ass back when you could do that with like the release of video games, where it's like I was watching trailers, I was looking for interviews, I was doing all the dumb shit because this was a know-nothing game that no one cared about. Like this is a reboot of a series of a game that had a mild amount of popularity years before and nothing since.
So fun fact about that Turok, I think that's the one where like they had a promotion for it where like someone named their kid Turok.
Oh my god. Fucking the 2000s, man. It was a weird time period. But dude, and that was the thing that was really funny, that like the original Turok, I mean, you've played the game with me, the Turok Evolution, kind of gives an interesting story where it's like you're Native American fighting off, you know, American soldiers in a massacre, and you end up being transported to like a different dimension, basically. So that's an interesting story, even though they do something weird with it in the back end of that game we haven't gotten to, which I'm not even going to tell you about yet. But fucking you know, just having that basic setup I think is interesting, right? And then like you kind of have this weird political situations that are talked about around your character that you can just completely ignore, because like all of them are either cutscenes or all of the information's actually given on the loading screen itself.
Yeah.
Like going into the mission, like the mission debrief loading screen, if you will.
Well, that's an easy way to save space on a disc.
Yeah, but like so like this game had like interesting ideas sometimes with its story, characters, and the way that the politics to a certain degree, but not really. That I thought was interesting as a kid, but like not something I really had to super engage with. Man, the remake, dude. Like, the fucking edgy, fucking trench coat wearing energy. He's not even Native American anymore. He just has a fucking mohawk because he's that badass, dude. Like, total, like,
bro, if you
punk energy coming off of that thing.
If you want to hop on eBay and order a copy of that game to have it be here before we come up, I'm down to play that.
Dude, I never have. Because, dude, I was so excited for it. And then
because I've actually never seen that game be played. I'm familiar with the cover I was thinking of with the raptor on the front. That's Evolution. Isn't Turok the one you're talking about, where like it's like a shadow outline of the guy holding the tomahawk? Or am I just making that up?
No, I don't think so. Because he in the new one, in the new one that came out with fucking PS3,
I think it was the last one to come out.
It is, which is why that terminology is funny. But yeah, no, in the newest one, he doesn't even use a tomahawk anymore, bro. He uses a knife. They make a big deal about like he's not Native American anymore. They lose that from him entirely, which I thought was really weird. They just went with like white guy mercenary with a mohawk, but whatever. Dude, you can stealth kill raptors with your fucking combat knife. How the fuck does that work? I don't fucking know. Like, how do you sneak up on a raptor, man? How do you stealth kill a raptor?
Guess we're gonna find out.
I don't know. It's one of those things where I remember in Evolution, like, it was so cool because I played Evolution after I'd seen Jurassic Park. I was going through a huge dinosaur phase, man. That's the reason why.
We all did.
That's the reason why it stood out on the shelf to me at Toys R Us. And so, playing that game and going through the scene where, like, they're first like, oh, there's raptors in the brush. And, like, I see them, like, running by and shit. And I was like, oh, man, like, I can't do anything. No, but you got a gun. Like, just start opening fire on those motherfuckers. Do not let those motherfuckers stake through the bushes on you. All right, you just gotta start blasting. All right, you gotta do it like Frank Reynolds. I just came out and I saw a blast. And that was just such a cool experience to have because like let me live the fantasy I'd had as a child to be in. I think it's the Lost World where the second one with the tall grass.
Yeah.
And it got me to, like, I got to look
with the tiger stripe raptors.
We're like, you just think that, like, man, these guys are fucking stupid. Like, how are you not shooting these fucking raptors out here? But it's also a cool scene because they're being torn apart. And I got to live the fantasy of being like, no, I'm the motherfucker who's competent in the grasses, motherfucker. I'm shooting all these raptors. Get over here. No, like a power fantasy as a child to really get you to remember a game way more fondly than you probably should. I think you and I already talked about. At some point, we're going to play a little Turok Evolution on the channel. It might even be the one I do for my Christmas episode. So I was thinking either that one...
Yeah, because I had Kirby last year.
Yeah, either that one, or I was actually thinking about... I remember the last video game I ever got for Christmas, if you're interested in that story.
Okay.
I don't feel like it's a spoiler to tell you. It's Far Cry 3. Far Cry 3 was...
I've never played 3.
Was the last, which is fascinating to me.
I played 2,
It
4, and 5.
It literally like helped define a genre setup that Ubisoft used for like a decade straight, and that others copied and replicated. Obviously, like a super popular, like just like standards for the game, like just a complete standardization of the genre to a fascinating degree to me. But yeah, no. So, and the reason why that was the last video game I ever received for Christmas was because my dad ended up buying it for me, and no one in my family liked buying video games for me for Christmas. My sisters would buy games that they'd want to play, and
just say it was for you for a gift.
And I wanted to play it too. It's like that's kind of like the compromise that we ended up hashing out, and I would do the same or try to expand their horizons sometimes with my video game gifts to them. But my parents, man, hated buying video games for me, and my dad did it a couple times. One of which being my last time I ever got one. He bought me Far Cry 3, and then I was so excited to play it because I was pretty hype on that game too, actually. That during Christmas Day, as soon as the presents were all open, my ass was downstairs and I was fucking gaming away on that motherfucker. And he was like, "You're not gonna spend Christmas with your family?" I'm like, "Now with a family that sucks." This rocks. This is awesome. Cause like, dude, like Far Cry 3 was so weird. Because you know it's so weird to think about it going back and see like, oh yeah, of course that's how that game works. Like that makes perfect sense. Playing it as a kid, I was so confused by it because I was like, man, it's an open world game where it's not really worth doing the open world stuff because it starts off like almost purely story wise, but then it branches out and it explains to you through the missions how to engage with the open world. And I was like, oh wow, this is like a really good, this is like a decent tutorial system. Like, okay, now I'm understanding how this specific game world works and how this open world game works. And dude, it was fucking off at the races after that. I sucked into that genre game for years, dude, decades. I mean, shit, I'd still say...
Well, dude, I fell into 4 pretty hard. Like, I 100%ed 4.
Which is crazy, because I've never played 4. 4 was the one that I missed out on. Which I'm sad that I did.
The criticism a lot of people had about 4...
It sounds really interesting.
It was more of the same of 3, which I didn't play 3, so 4 was a really novel experience to me.
Yeah.
Plus, it was one of the first games I got for Xbox One. Like, when I got that new generation of console, that's also why I dove into it. It was like the only game I had at the time.
4 sounds like it tries to handle a more...
moral gray areas.
Yeah, like a more complex story, in my opinion. But...
yeah, because 3 is just frat bros on an island.
But not really. 3 does have a little bit of growth, but it's kind of like...
From what I heard, it falls into like white savior complex bullshit.
Yes and no. It's less white savior, I'd say, and more like going native. That's the kind of like commentary that it offers, where it's like, you know, but the commentary I think kind of does work because the real thing it's doing is addressing the player. Because essentially the way the game plays out is that, you know, you play as, you know, a whole bunch of frat boys and their girlfriends and whatnot on, you know, doing the island thing, and you guys get captured by pirates, and a couple of your friends die. And the beginning of the game has a really interesting subversion too, which, you know, I don't feel bad spoiling. We were going to probably talk about the game at some point, but I don't think it's crazy to let you know that the protagonist is the protagonist, right? Because the game opens up and, you know, you're stuck in like cages from the pirates, and your brother's there with you, and your brother actually has like military service, so he's like, you know, he's like, hey man, you know, I'm gonna lure the guard over, and like, you know, you're gonna have to take him out, and you're just like, what? No, like I'm a frat bro, or like I can't do that, you know, like totally reluctant to do it, but ends up having to do it anyway. And then your brother is the one kind of giving you the basics of the game, like teaching you how to sneak, and even is there for the first time that you kill someone, and then you see him die, and you're like, oh
no,
nice jump back, baby, almost missed it. But yeah, so it's kind of like a good narrative device to show our character kind of like having to fill what he thinks are the shoes of a certain expectation, right? You know, his brother helped him get out of that experience by exuding a certain kind of masculine energy, I feel like, and he ends up trying to replicate that, but then going kind of too deep down the fucking rabbit hole. Sam Pete says, "Get home, we still intact, baby. We ain't practicing anymore. We're only doing runs." Anytime
this is also the best run I've done all day. This is the final run.
Anytime he's died, we've reset. So
yeah. This is the final run, though. I have shit to do this afternoon.
Yeah. To be fair, I mean, over 2 hours was not what I was expecting out of you, but I'm not saying I'm disappointed. Yeah, it's funny, your best run's coming on the heels of your worst run,
one.
where you died on level 1.
Yeah.
That's funny. But yeah, no, fucking Far Cry 3 does some interesting things with the story, and it makes commentary, not to get too deep in the fucking weeds, but it's basically making a commentary to the gamer, right? In the end of the game, you know, after you've been absorbed kind of into the violent culture of the island, and even you have the fight with Voss, where, you know, you literally at certain points become a mirror to him, like his twin,
Yeah.
you know, creating the similarities of you enjoying the violence, you reveling in the violence. It's making that commentary through Jason, our main character, to the player themselves. Like, hey, take a look at what you're really enjoying here. You are becoming one where you're not just doing this to escape, you're reveling in it. And then at the end of the game, basically you have, which I have my criticisms of, you have a binary choice. And the binary choice is, do you stay on the island and, you know, continue to revel in the violence and basically become, you know, the some kind of king of anarchy on this island, the same way that Voss was? Or do you leave the island and you go back home and you say, no, I justify morally the actions I undertook because I was trying to get out of the immoral system, essentially. And it's saying that to the player as well. Like, what was the reason you were really here for, right? Were you here to see the story and to see this guy struggle and persevere? Or were you here just to fuck shit up and have a good time? And I think, you know...
Okay, we're here.
I think a lot of people misinterpret that as unfortunately, you know, a shallow message. When you take it in the point of view of just the character, I think, yes, it is a shallow message. But we take it in point of view of them commenting on the player themselves, I think it works well enough.
This has been the make it or break it point for every single one of my fucking
I'm excited
runs.
for you, man. I'm excited for you. I'm just over here talking about fucking video game lore for no goddamn reason.
I'll keep going.
Okay?
I'm just not going to respond to you at all during this.
Well, it's one of those things where, not having played 4, I can't talk about its story in a huge amount of depth. I am familiar. Cole wants you to know that you got this, even though this is the run you didn't dedicate to him. Like an asshole. But, you know, we dedicate this one to all the children out there. All of them. Very easy to do that. Very, very blanket term. No one can get upset with that. But yeah, no, I didn't play Far Cry 4 like you did, but I do know that the kind of, I'll say, twist to it is the fact that you have the two sides. You have like the secularists and the religious zealots that you see good and bad things done by. But despite which side you choose, they both end up kind of having, you know, negative moral choices. Where, you know, the secularists end up getting involved in the drug trade, and the church ends up getting involved in something, or like there's a kind of hint at like predatory behavior inside the church as well. I don't know. It's interesting. I wish I had played it so I could talk more about it. And then of course, you know, I went to Far Cry 5 after that. I skipped Primal because fuck Primal, man. Fucking Primal. I mean, like, I don't know. I hear people talk about like mechanically, it's actually a rather pleasing game to play, but I just could not give less of a shit about its lack of story. Like, I don't need primitive man struggling in the face of, you know, the violent nature of primitive man. You can make that same allegory in a modern system, I think, and it didn't really innovate on anything, right? It was just taking mechanics and things that were already there to begin with, and just, I don't know. Like I said, I have my criticisms of it. I think it works. It just wasn't for me. But yeah, Far Cry 5 was the one that I really actually got into again after 3. I had a blast with that one. And I think that was the last good one they fucking made. And
My heart is racing.
I bet it is. Dude, it's so funny too because I played 5. I like 5. I have my criticisms of 5, which I won't dive into. Paul says I would not be able to be that good at bombs that happen way too fast on top of being random. Yeah, it seems like a rather difficult segment overall. I mean,
Let's go!
Get it! You did do it. I'm very proud of you, Nathan. See, all you need is a good luck charm, which apparently it's me. Nice level 7.
Bro,
Nathan.
this is the furthest I've made in a no-death run ever.
Putting up those mile
Holy
markers, baby.
shit. Okay, I gotta calm the fuck down.
It's funny because, you said your heart was racing the first
Dude,
time.
it still is.
Yeah. the first thing I thought about was
Like, my hands are jittery as fuck right now.
praise the sun.
Oh my god.
Full praise. That's insane. Says Call.
Jesus.
Hey, there's something about my inane ramblings, I guess. It's like meditation to you. It just soothes you out. Either that or you just got that good at ignoring my bullshit. We'll leave it up to,
I wanted that weapon, but that's fine. Okay, this is bad.
This is very bad.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, progress was made, so I'll take it. And there is healing in this level.
Cole says, your heart racing after a hard segment / hard boss is such an insane feeling if you beat it. Been there, done that. I mean, it's one of the reasons why, you know, I enjoy Souls games, and most people do, right? I mean, that, not just the sense of accomplishment, but the adrenaline rush, right? I mean, dude, yeah, I feel it when I play Dark Souls and Elden Ring, and I feel it when I play, like, multiplayer games.
Oh, you son of a bitch! Oh, that's 2 points of damage! Fuck, alright. I'm good.
You might need to take
Aim for the furthest you can go, don't think about the end goal, one level at a time is fine. Yeah, dude, that's how I'm seeing it. So, I saw level...
F's in the chat.
Yeah.
F's in the chat.
Dude, if I would've, I got hit by the stupid balls. If I would've had that weapon, this part is easy with the weapon.
Yeah, it looks like you just mistimed your...
Yeah, well, I usually have the weapon going through here, and I thought they did 1 point of damage, not 2.
Well, I was gonna say you mistimed it. It looked like you were trying to decide whether you wanted to melee the next ball or jump over the next ball. I saw you hesitate for like some millisecond.
Yeah,
like,
no, that'll do it. But I'm counting this as a successful live stream.
Definitely. I'm happy I could help.
Oh, all right. Well, we're gonna wrap it up here because I haven't eaten today.
Food is very, very
and I don't know what's going on at this party. So,
can you even call it a party if they don't offer food? I think legally you can.
This is true. This is very true. All right, I'm ending the stream. I'll see y'all later.